for the NFL and
Yeah.
a lot of time in Jacksonville.
I know who you're talking about.
I see him like every day on social media talking about like the latest IPA or whatever. I'm like,
Sure.
dude, how do you do it?
Sure.
Like that's how do you do that much of them?
Yeah.
He's a connoisseur. I'm kind of a novice at that, but I do like trying different ones, and it's a lot of fun to be able to. But it's going to add some lbs.
Gonna add some lbs real quick.
Do a little extra workout.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
And
treat yourself, but hey, you know what? You gotta treat yourself every once in a while, right?
You got to do it.
Yeah,
you got to do it.
Like, and shout out to people out there that are like super strict with their diets. You know, I'm talking like grilled chicken every single day and broccoli, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. And I'm talking about people like that aren't even like in fitness, like, you know, like the fitness models, things like that. I'm talking about just everyday people that want to get a little more cut, a little more ripped. Chicken and broccoli every single day, man.
It is really what you put.
Insane.
The exercise doesn't matter. Right? We've done this before, but I mean, not like it doesn't matter.
No,
exercise helps,
but it's like 20%. Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Even just like I said at the beginning of the doing this, when I started going to one of the local gyms, the first thing they showed me, and even after the first few months, was learning that. I mean, it's 30% what you do in the gym, and 70% the rest is.
I mean, because I'm benching 450, and it still doesn't matter.
Flex, a little bit of flex. I don't think you are, but but he had us going for a second.
Absolutely. Hey, DJ Chark talked this afternoon. You know, we talk about Josh Allen as a guy that's mature and kind of seems like he's going to be around for a long time. Now, be careful how you say that around here.
Yep.
But
2 years maybe.
Yeah, 2 years is a long time.
Yeah.
But DJ Chark's another one of those guys. And I think this is an important year for DJ to establish himself as one of those guys, saying all the right things. Good dude. We've had him on the show a couple times, and he's a good young man. I mean, it's kind of cool to be around, and it was interesting to hear what he had to say today, not only about Jacksonville in itself and being here, and it seems like he embraces the idea of wanting to give Jags fans something special because you can run from that or you can embrace it. And I think he's one of those guys that embraces it. I feel like Josh Allen's one of those guys. And maybe there's a lot of guys, but at least they get it. You know, they know it's been a long dozen years or so around here. But also what he said about Jay Gruden's offense, which I think is pretty interesting. And I want your interpretation on that when we get to it. So we'll talk a little bit about DJ Chark. PGA Championship round 2. Tiger tees off later on. This is a beautiful night if you like golf because Tiger will tee off around 5:30, and you can watch it all night long. Have a beverage or two. So it'll be later on in our show. There's some good scores out there right now. Usually the morning rounds are better than the afternoon rounds. Yeah. That was the case yesterday. We'll see what's happening. How about your man, Tommy Fleetwood?
How's he doing?
Fantastic day today.
Like it.
He was 4 under at the last check. He had got it to 5. He was in second place.
Okay, Tommy, I see you.
I see you're heavily invested.
Very well. How's his mother dude doing? Mark Hubbard.
Fleetwood's 5 now. Yeah,
okay,
so he's second
not bad.
place.
I'm not mad at that. What is Mark Hubbard talking about?
Hubbard was at 1 under. Now let me go find him. Mark Hubbard.
Let's go, Mark.
In a van down by the river, Mark Hubbard.
Yeah. Letting that beard flow a little bit.
Even. That's okay.
Okay,
That's
we're okay with that. We're okay with that.
What's a little bizarre here is the weather has been benign. It's unpredictable out in the West Coast, especially in the San Francisco area. And the weather has not – it's been really good. I mean, so the scores, I think, are unbelievable. To be like half the field is – well, not half the field. I would say – at least 40% of the fields, even par or better. That's a pretty low number for a major championship, in my opinion, especially out there at TPC Harding Park, where the rough is almost like U.S. Open kind of rough. And some of the leaders, they're still missing the fairways, kind of like Tiger did, and still scoring okay, which is not really the way that's supposed to be out there. It's like it's penalizing. You got to chip out, and then you're probably facing long par putts when you do that. So hasn't been the case just yet at the PGA Championship. So some good theater there and a good leaderboard as well. Now talk a little watercross. You ever heard of it?
Watercross. Can't say that I have.
No. You remember the game Jet Moto?
Like the video?
Do you remember that video game?
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I kind of envision this.
How do you know about Jet Moto?
I used to play Jet Moto.
Okay. Brett Martin with the N64 reference. It's N64, right?
It wasn't N64.
What was Jet Moto?
I don't know
It was
Jet
either
Moto.
an early phase of PlayStation or it was like Nintendo.
Okay, I got you. I think right here, Jet Moto. Yep, it was an N60. Yeah, right there.
Jet Moto was awesome.
Got you.
Now,
okay.
Yeah, they probably had Jet Moto on N64 too, but I didn't have an N64.
I got you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
So that was a fun game.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Was it just jet ski? It felt like you were on. Remember, like it went from like motorcycles to jet skis or something. Is that how it worked?
It's basically it's on jet skis, but you can go on land as well.
That's
so they're
right.
kind of like hovercrafts.
That's
I
right.
just remember there was like a giant Mountain Dew must have put out like the major
That's
big
a
bucks
good point.
because Mountain Dew was everywhere in
You're
that
right.
video game. Yeah,
Well, I remember the water part of that
Sure,
game.
sure.
And so this kind of reminds me, it's an event going on this weekend in
Okay.
St. Augustine. We're going to have a guest, and he's a local guy who's obviously doing this for a living.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I didn't even know it was something you could do for a living.
Yeah.
You know, so it should be pretty fun. We'll talk a little bit about that. I tweeted today because Barry Bonds celebrating his 13th anniversary of breaking Hank Aaron's home run record. It was number 756. And I got a lot of interesting responses on Barry Bonds. Let's talk a little Barry Bonds. Do you see him as the home run king? You know, where do you sit on Bonds? Interesting responses. Like, it's not across the board. Everybody feels the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it's probably one of the most underappreciated or almost forgotten moments in terms of milestones. Like,
Sure.
it's maybe one of the greatest milestones of all time. I mean, people put that record, especially if you go way back in the day, you know, when Babe Ruth had it and Hank Aaron then had it, and then if you go single season where Roger Maris had it, you know, and obviously the quest for Sosa and McGuire at the time. Well, when Barry Bonds did it, just didn't feel as amped up, didn't feel as fun. The buzz wasn't there, and it came with that, I don't know if I should get behind this or not.
It felt a little cheap, felt a little tainted.
It felt tainted at the time because we kind of knew it was even at the time, so we kind of wanted to look the other way, but even keep one eye open. It was almost like a horror movie, and he wasn't very likable, and
Correct.
he's never been really, when he was a player, he wasn't a likable figure. And so I think that was an interesting part of the whole breaking the home run. And, like, in my mind, what I said is I don't see Barry Bonds as the home run king of all time. I still give credit to Hank Aaron. I don't give credit to – I think we all know to some degree Barry Bonds was influenced at some point.
Sure.
For how long, all that stuff, all debatable. I also say that's fine. He's a surefire Hall of Famer, should be in Cooperstown and all those things. So it's not like I dismiss and cancel, which everybody else does to everyone these days, but it's not like I dismiss and cancel Barry Bonds. I just say when it comes to this record, I don't really see him as a home. If you tell me the home run king, I'm still saying Hank Aaron. That's my point.
Sure.
I was like, oh, yeah, Barry Bonds has more. Yeah, whatever. Not really.
Well, listen, in terms of the home run king, like, yeah, obviously Hank Aaron's up there. And obviously I didn't get to watch Hank Aaron play. Obviously he's associated with the Milwaukee Braves a little bit, so there's Milwaukee ties there, and I know how important Hank Aaron is. But it is kind of ironic, though. It's kind of funny because growing up as a kid, you know, it was during that home run chase, and you had Mark McGuire, you had Sammy Sosa, you had Barry Bonds. And I remember the whole Barry Bonds, you know, breaking the record and everything like that. But it's like you said, he wasn't that likable of a guy. So it kind of, to me, took a little shine off it. Like, for instance, like kids in the backyard, they weren't Barry Bonds when they're hitting, you know, with their friends with the home run derby.
Didn't feel like it.
You're Ken Griffey Jr., you know, you're the Big Mac, you're slamming Sammy. But nobody was ever really Barry Bonds. But I will say this. Call him home run king or not, to me, he exemplified and he changed the way how a home run hitter was treated. And what I mean about that is the walks. You know, like he's really the first guy that I remember growing up as a kid watching get intentionally walked after walk after walk, or if the game was on the line where they had to pitch to him, then they pitched to him, and obviously with dire consequences. So like I remember that thinking like, this is insane. Like it's literally a guy on base pretty much every single time because you're going to walk him. And I remember watching that as a kid thinking like, this is insane. Like how could you do that, you know, 3 to 4 times a game? So the fact that, you know, people respected him so much for his attributes, whether they were tainted or not, the fact that he was respected so much from amongst his peers about that dangerous home run ball, and the fact that he got intentionally walked every single time, to me, he is the home run king. To me, because I think if you looked at how teams prepared against him, how teams had to throw around him, no one else did it better than Barry Bonds.
Yeah, I'll have more thoughts that don't necessarily disagree a lot with what you said, but I still don't classify him as home run king. And as I said, to me, it's one of the least celebrated milestones in sports, and it might be the greatest record in sports. Like it might have been, if it wasn't Bonds, You could make the case if it was still Hank Aaron or somebody else like Ken Griffey Jr. eclipsed it, it would be the greatest sports record.
Without a doubt. If Griffey could have stayed healthy and kept that momentum going, I mean, it would have been the biggest thing in baseball.
Yet, as big of a record as it is, it's maybe the least celebrated, in my opinion. It's been 13 years since it happened for Barry Bonds. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Some news out of Florida State. They have a player opt out. We'll do FSU at 4 a little bit later on in the show. Let's take a break. When we come back, let's begin with some Jags talk. We like to do that. Is it Shark Week or is next week Shark Week?
Starts on the 9th.
What's today?
The 7th.
So it's starting Sunday.
Next week.
So it's Shark Weekend.
Well, it starts next week, though, right? It starts next Monday?
Yes, but to be fair, Nat Geo has been doing Shark Month.
Hey.
Listen.
Nat Geo.
Listen.
Goose.
Is that National Geographic?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's respectable, but...
It was awesome. It was a great month.
Stop trying to copy Shark. Hey, Nat Geo, do your own thing, huh? Do Snake Week or something. Stop trying to copy Sharks.
Sharks are really the only animal that can get like a week or a month out of a...
Dude, snakes?
Nah.
I'd watch King Cobra. There's a lot of snakes out there.
There are a lot of snakes out there.
I'd watch Snake Week.
You see all those pythons taken out of the Everglades again?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Crazy, huh?
It's unbelievable.
Dang. Snake Week, Brent, we got something there.
I was just trying to segue into Chark Attack. That's all I was really trying to do.
But here we are getting super off the rails as usual.
Now I'm trying to think of
That's all I was
animals
trying to do.
that we could have a week out of on TV.
Well, listen, you know how I feel about Shark Week. Sorry we got on this point right now.
Yeah, Chark Attack next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Increasing cloudiness with thunderstorms increasing through the afternoon and early evenings. Temperatures in the 90s before the rain moves in, drops into the low to mid 70s overnight. Hot and humid weekend, widely scattered afternoon thunderstorms tomorrow, otherwise partly sunny in the mid 90s. And Sunday, scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms with a high of 94. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
I look at it every single day, and I'm in awe.
That's Tracy talking about her amazing diamond ring from Diamonds Direct.
Better than anything I could ever imagine. Just fantastic. The biggest compliment is everybody says I've never seen anything like it.
And the shopping experience at Diamonds Direct?
Very laid back. Not one time did we feel like we were being pressured. Not one time did we feel like we were being asked to extend a budget we did not have. In fact, it was almost the opposite. Like, we completely respect the budget that you guys have. Let us see if we can make something work.
And how about the free service for life at Diamonds Direct?
I come back about once a month, and I have them clean it, redip it so it's all shiny and new, and they will clean it every day if I walk down here every day. They're fantastic.
These days, Tracy walks around with Diamonds Direct business cards in her purse.
I hand them to strangers. When people say, where did you get that? I go, here, this is where I got it. And they always go, oh, I hear the ads, but I've never been in there. I'm like, go in.
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
There's nothing like this anywhere else that I've seen.
Get directions, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Off Town Center Parkway.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community, and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers trained to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
I'm Glenn Levine, a board-certified civil trial lawyer. That means the Florida bars recognize me as an expert in the field of civil trial. As a trial lawyer, I'm trained to investigate every aspect of your case. If you've been involved in a legal dispute and are not sure of your options, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation, and take back control of your life. Office in Jacksonville.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com. Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233. You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
City, this team deserves, something to look forward to. So that first starts with me as being a guy that's trying to be there for my teammates, trying to get the right energy going. We're very young, so now, I'm kind of forced out of the shadows to speak a little more. But at the end of the day, we just want to win. That's what we're here for. Win, play football. That's really the mindset.
That is DJ Chark, hails from Alexandria, Louisiana, which I always like to say because my first job in this business was in Alexandria, Louisiana. And if you think about it, he was probably like 4.
Were you covering the Pee Wee leagues or anything? Or not?
I didn't know.
Pop Warner?
Not yet.
Yeah.
We were covering.
4's probably a little young for that as well.
A little bass fishing out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you could say he was a baby Chark.
Very good.
I couldn't resist, could you?
Nope, I was trying not to, but
couldn't stop.
Couldn't resist.
I like
Can't
it,
control
though.
yourself.
Hey, he just said it. DJ Chark said, hey, I've been kind of forced into a role of leadership, whether I like it or not.
Correct.
Again, he's kind of a quiet, unassuming guy who actually, I think, has a big personality, showcases it on the field, but kind of in front of a microphone, around, very kind of quiet and unassuming. And he's basically like, hey, I got to do this. I'm like one of the veteran guys here. Like, I could be a building block here, and there's no doubt about it. Just put the question out there on social media. Is he on his way to being one of the best receivers in Jags history? I mean, if you think about great receivers in Jags history, of course, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell, and
yeah,
Allen Robinson.
Yeah, Allen Robinson for sure.
I mean, but did Allen Robinson do it long? I love A-Rob.
Yeah.
But did he do it long enough? I mean, like, I thought about putting, is he the best receiver? Could he be the best receiver in Jacksonville since Jimmy Smith? And I think Jimmy's last 1,000-yard receiving season was in 2005. And then there had been like a 9-year gap between 1,000-yard receiving seasons. And then it was A-Rob and Allen Hurns both did it, I believe. But they went that long between 1,000-yard receiving seasons, and now here comes DJ Chark. So I was going to say, is he the best since Jimmy Smith? And I don't want to slight Hurns and A-Rob because they were good, but were they good for a long enough time to know here in Jacksonville?
But let's be honest, though, in terms of were they good long enough, they didn't really have a chance to be that good long enough,
and that's,
right?
Yeah, it's not their fault.
It's not like we brought him back or anything.
Well, and A-Rob got hurt the final year.
Correct.
So, yeah, I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm just saying I don't know where they rank in the category of great receivers in Jags history.
I think we can assume, obviously Allen Hurns, since his time in Jacksonville, granted he's dealt with injuries as well. Productivity's probably gone down a little bit with his time in Dallas and in Miami. I think Allen Robinson, with a pretty mediocre, if not below mediocre offense with Mitch Trubisky throwing the ball, still seems to kind of have that it factor. So I think if Allen Robinson was here, we'd be talking about him being, one of the best Jaguars receivers of all time. But since he's not here anymore, it's hard to throw in that category.
Yeah. So I guess simply put, is he going to be a great receiver for the Jags? Again, there's not a ton of competition there. And they have two great ones now, McCardell and Jimmy Smith, no doubt. But is he going to be – they've tried now. They tried with Matt Jones. They tried with Reggie Williams. They tried with A-Rob and Allen Hurns and Marquise Lee. And here they have DJ Chark, second-round pick out of LSU. Does really nothing his first year on a receiver position. Did very well in special teams. People don't talk about it, but did very well there. And then, bam, all of a sudden becomes a Pro Bowl guy, dependable guy, caught everything in the early part of last year, especially the first 6 to 8 games. I mean, he caught you could have thrown it out of the stadium and he would have ran to the parking lot and caught it. I mean, it was that good his first part of last year. And he became a very reliable target once Minshew got in there because they had worked together a lot, I think, in training camp. There was a comfort level there. Can he be one of the greats in Jags history? And will this year decide that, or at least go a long way in proving that?
So this year, it's not going to decide it to me, but it's going to be very telling. I'll be honest with you. if you break down DJ Chark, I don't like the fact that he's on his third offensive coordinator in 3 years. Okay, like no one's going to like that point. Okay, I do like the fact that he seems to have built a rapport with Gardner Minshew. Okay, this is their second year together now, so I do like that. And if you want to kind of put more in the terms of, well, I do like what's going on here, Jay Gruden has come out and said that DJ Chark is going to be in the slot a little bit. He's going to be on the outside. Anytime that you move a receiver around like that, it's the offensive coordinator saying, this guy's special. This guy is going to be the cog. He's going to be our featured wide receiver that we want to build around. When the game's on the line, he's getting the ball. You know, you see it all the time with like Michael Thomas in New Orleans. They line up Michael Thomas everywhere. Now, despite what you think, if he's the best wide receiver, top 3, top 5, top 10, regardless, they get him the ball because Sean Payton and Drew Brees believe he is the best wide receiver in the league. And I think that faith, I think that confidence lies with Jay Gruden and obviously lies with Gardner Minshew as well. So if they can kind of keep that rapport a little bit, have success offensive line, I think the sky's the limit for DJ Chark.
Yeah, you really bring up, we kind of fell into this part of the conversation, and you bring up a good point to put an exclamation point on it. I mean, I just mentioned, I think he got a lot of targets early last year because Minshew was comfortable with him. Well, that's a nice thing to have. I mean, Minshew's the guy. He's got a comfort level with him, talks highly of him. There's a chemistry there, no doubt. So that's coming back. You know, you can have a different look on offense. You can have a different offense coordinator. You can have some different parts with Laviska Shenault and Chris Thompson and Tyler Eifert. But we know that's coming back, and that's a connection that, again, I think makes you feel pretty good about Minshew more than anything else because Chark can really help Gardner Minshew out, having a reliable target. Missing some of the time in the spring, you still have a go-to guy that you're used to and you're comfortable going with. So I think it's a tremendous point. And then the point of where they use him and how they use him and where they move him around, you know, it's something I've kind of saved for the Laviska Shenault conversation. I can't wait to see how they use them, where they use him. Well, maybe we should be talking about that a little bit more in Chark. How will they use him? What will they do to improve his skill set, make him a mismatch, put him in one-on-one spots, and he's got the ability to go all over the field. But I think what you just said is maybe the most important. It's a heck of a compliment. And I always say this, guys know. Like, you know. They know if this guy's a special player and has some great potential. Players know, coaches know. And so if they see that, it's a great indicator from a complimentary standpoint of how much they believe in him. Yeah. And I didn't really think of it that way. But Jay Gruden saying that, and if they illustrate that here in 2020, will be a great sign for DJ Chark and his future.
Yeah, listen, I mean, and we're still a little early for our fantasy football predictions and things like that. But that little comment of you know, Jay Gruden saying that he's going to put DJ Chark in the slot a little bit. He's going to put, I mean, what do the slot guys do? Obviously, they catch the ball in space. They get all the receptions, right? Because you have a slot corner on you, which means you have some space to work. So the fact that they're going to move him around, it just shows the confidence. It shows the faith. Now, you know, when we bring in guys like Laviska Shenault now, I mean, there is a lot of intrigue here with this offensive unit as the wide receiver group. You got Conley on the outside. He can still, you know, burn, obviously. He's got a 50, 60-inch vertical, whatever it was at the combine. You know, didn't get used in the red zone a lot last year. Hopefully that changes this year. And to me, it is a little rare because Gruden in the past hasn't really featured that wide receiver. Now, maybe one could say, well, he didn't really have like a bona fide go-to wide receiver. Like, yeah, he had Deshaun Jackson and he had, you know, he had some suitable guys, but like, I hardly ever seen him like feature just one wide receiver. Jay Gruden's known for spreading the ball around a little more, obviously getting his tight ends involved as well. But I think we might see a little change now from Jay Gruden if he really is infatuated and loves DJ Chark. I think you might see the lion's share, if you will, go towards DJ Chark. Now, keep in mind, if they start double teaming him and things like that, well, then you can go someplace else. But I think DJ Chark is going to be featured this year a lot in this offense.
You know, we talk a lot about Josh Allen. Could he emerge as a star? We talk a lot about Myles Jack. Is he going to live up to it? We talk a lot about Gardner Minshew, what an opportunity he has. I guess, how good of a situation do the Jags find themselves in, if DJ Chark has another really good season and starts to establish himself, if not, I'm not going to go crazy and say elite just yet, but on the fringe of that, or just on the outside of that, and maybe in that second tier, that's a big get now. Again, I just told you at the top of this segment, go ahead and start listing the best receivers in Jags history. Let me know when you get to like number 5.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's not easy. So it would be a heck of a find to get DJ Chark. I say this, when Dave Caldwell came in here, there were two positions that were just, listen, quarterbacks continues to be a position where if your best quarterback that you've ever had in franchise history played now some 20 years ago, that's a problem, especially in the NFL, especially in football. That's a problem. But other position groups where they've really struggled in this franchise's history is wide receiver and pass rusher. And if you start to think about what this front office has been able to do in terms of finding some talent in that regard, I know people aren't really up for giving pats on the back to Caldwell and staff for obvious reasons. But Josh Allen, Yannick Ngakoue, even bringing in Calais Campbell on the pass rushing side and the numbers that those guys put up over the last few years. Even, again, people aren't going to fall in love with Dante Fowler Jr., but it wasn't a bust of a guy. He still was productive and had some big moments here in a Jags uniform.
Well, and he's still doing pretty well for himself now.
He's a $16 million guy. Sure. Somebody else sees something in him. Now, it's a one-year deal. It's not like it's a 5-year deal. And then on the receiver side, I mentioned him already. Hearns was a great find as an undrafted free agent, but Allen Robinson was a good draft pick. Marquise Lee did not live up to what you had hoped he would be, and I know that. And a lot of it was injury-based, and I actually think a lot of it was the way they used him, too. Yeah. But now you have DJ Chark who comes along. They've had success in the second round finding some talent.
D.D. Westbrook, too, as well, you have to throw in there in that mix as well.
Yeah, where does he fit? Yeah, where does he fit?
But I'm just saying, as a draft pick, though, as well. I think it's a big year for him to see, if where they spent that draft on with with D.D. Westbrook, was it worth it or not? I think right now people would say it's not.
I guess if I'm applauding Caldwell, though, I can't applaud him yet for Westbrook is my point.
Correct.
He's a fourth-round guy, but I just can't applaud him yet for it. Now, I'll say it one more time, though. Look at the second-round picks under Dave Caldwell, and there was Allen Robinson, there is DJ Chark, and can they follow suit and keep the trend going with Laviska Shenault? They've had tremendous success finding talent at the wideout position. Again, it was a decade long. I mean, listen, you had some good guys that played when you were here, but they weren't ultra-talented. Listen, we love Cecil Shorts. He wasn't upper echelon in the league. He was a very good player. He was better than anybody wanted to give him credit for, probably. Sure. And he had a nice NFL career.
He did.
Love Cecil.
I mean, you had Mike Sims Walker, Michael Thomas.
Yeah. So you had
not Michael. I think it was Mike Thomas.
Mike Thomas. But you had flashes of guys.
Yeah.
But you never had consistent success. Well, and there's the X factor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Blackman could have been, in my opinion.
Well, we saw it, Brent. Come on.
I mean, he was to me a perennial Pro Bowl guy.
Yeah, for sure.
A game changer guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now he's also where they end up getting him as a 5th overall pick.
Sure.
That was more like a Julio Jones type of investment.
No, for sure.
Without giving up the draft capital.
Well, and listen, and we all know how the story played out with Justin Blackman, but I just think if you take away the off-the-field issues, which obviously it's hard to do, especially as a fan, but if you just go on talent alone of like what we saw at practice, what we saw during the games, I think that 5th pick was warranted. I think taking him that high was definitely warranted. I think he was going to, if he could have kept his head on straight, could have been in this city and have been a storied wide receiver for years and years to come. It's just the fact that obviously you had the off-the-field issues. And let's be fair here, I mean, those were brought up during college as well. And some teams knew that. And the Jaguars took a gamble on him. It didn't work out. So I'm not saying – you should get away with that. You shouldn't. Obviously, it was a bad pick. But I'm just saying from a talent and a skill standpoint, that 5th pick, I think, for him was warranted.
Yeah. Listen, from a talent, I agree with you. It isn't warranted because of the way it turned out.
Yeah, but absolutely.
But he was a top 10 kind of talent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if I think he was on his way to being. In fairness, there are some folks that don't think that he was that, and that was still overdrafted. Maybe it was just because he was one of the best things I had seen in years and years on that practice field. And then when he'd go play a game, he'd deliver. But what he could have been, I mean, he's one of the great wasted talent stories of Jaguars history, quite frankly, in my opinion.
And listen, and we had Cecil Shorts back in the day on the show, and he kind of explained it a little bit. And I share a lot of the same opinions of Cecil on the matter here. I'm not going to speak bad about anybody that can't defend themselves. I haven't talked to Justin in forever, so I'm not really going to speak bad about him. But I just think that there was a belief on the team that, listen, this guy's not really necessarily like a weight room warrior. Like, he's not putting up any kind of big numbers. You know, he just kind of goes about his business. You know, in terms of the offseason, you know, kind of does his own little thing. But when he was on the field, it was like, holy cow. And I think there's a sense of feeling that once he got it figured out in the NFL, and once he like applied himself in the weight room, and he applied himself in preparing for the NFL, and applied himself in the offseason, like, this guy was going to be like an all-pro. Like, that was the thought on the team, you know, and obviously it just didn't transpire.
Yeah, listen, I get it. I think you're right. And he was a physical runner. Mm-hmm. He really was after the catch. Mm-hmm. So much to like about Justin Blackmon, which really makes it a sad story, I think, here in Jacksonville. With all the issues that he ended up having. DJ Chark's interesting. You know, I say this a lot. You have to get lucky sometimes. All the good organizations get lucky sometimes. Jags probably have gotten lucky more times than we give them credit for, but it hasn't added to a ton of success. Well, you need to get lucky maybe more than once in a few things. There's a lot of things the Jags could get lucky on. Minshew could have a great season, and they could decide, whoa, he's that sixth-round guy that turns – this guy really is something. They could get lucky on a guy like DJ Chark, where I don't think anybody after that first year ever would be talking like this about DJ Chark. Mm-hmm. And you just hope he has a nice career and he's a good, solid receiver and a good number 2 receiver. Shoot, sometimes even a solid number 3. But I think he actually has a chance to play, at least on this team, he's going to be a number 1. But, I mean, he has a chance to establish himself maybe as a number 1 receiver going in 2020. That would be a nice break, I guess, is kind of the moral of the story, if the Jags could get that kind of production out of DJ Chark. He'll be asked to do a lot this year. They need a go-to guy, a guy I always say you got a game plan for. Might have to game plan a little bit for DJ Chark.
You're going to have to, absolutely. And keep in mind now, teams will be game planning for Gardner Minshew as well in this pass game. So I'm interested to see what DJ Chark can do from his second-year campaign now to his third year. Can he elevate it even more? The fact that now teams are going to have to respect the Jaguars' passing game.
We'll give you an update on the PGA Championship, who's in the lead, and Austin's guy, Tommy Fleetwood, knocking on the door of a tremendous round. That means it's out there for Tiger Woods. We got some Jacksonville residents and natives flirting with the top of this leaderboard, too. We'll give you an update on the PGA Championship. Action all evening long. And we'll get to some more Florida State talk coming up at 4 o'clock a little bit. One player opts out. We're going to talk a little watercross, pro watercross. Oh, yeah, you betcha. It's a Friday. Hang around on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690, the home of the Florida State Seminoles in Jacksonville.
Duke goes down to defeat Florida State 79. Duke 74.
The basket lays. Oh, it drops. It drops with 1.8 seconds to go.
Here's the snap. Winston rolling right close to pass on the other. It's caught. It's caught. It's caught.
You'll hear Knowles football and men's basketball right here on ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio and the Florida State Seminoles.
At Diamonds Direct, nobody tells our story better than our own associates.
I hear from customers that come in how shocked they are. They're able to, only with Diamonds Direct, afford a diamond that they never in their wildest dreams thought they'd be able to get.
People are just thrilled with what we offer.
We have exponentially more to choose from. The resources that we have, all the way from our wholesale routes, really untouchable.
When you come here to Diamonds Direct, you know it's something special. You know it's something that is one of a kind, and you got that at such a phenomenal value.
To be a jeweler and have this kind of firepower, we have all these mountings, all this selection, all these diamonds, and incredible prices is just unmatched.
And I think our customers appreciate that we are so open and honest about every part of this process.
What they're surprised by is the extent that we go to provide an unparalleled, luxurious shopping experience.
This company has a 60-year heritage in diamond cutting, diamond mining, diamond wholesaling. So there's no possible way to get any closer to the source than with Diamonds Direct.
We won't be undersold.
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Store hours and directions at diamondsdirect.com.
It happens to all of us. That AC unit just starts making some noise, or even worse, it's not working anymore. This is the time of year you don't want that to happen. It's way too hot around here. My friends at Bold City Heating and Air will help. They helped us. It started with a call from my wife, and she said the AC wasn't working. So we jumped on boldcityac.com, and before we knew it, they were at the door. Super friendly customer service, clean, timely, and personal service call. And now we're loyal to Bold City Heating and Air. They took care of my family. They'll take care of your family. It's a big investment in AC unit, but a necessary one. Mirrors at Bold City Heating and Air has built a strong culture, and as a customer, you can feel it. We felt it. The easiest way to start the relationship with an AC company you can trust is to go to boldcityac.com. Have Bold City Heating there. Check out your AC. Right now, it's $25 off and annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it's working efficiently. Good peace of mind at the very least. Visit boldcityac.com. Be bold and beat the heat at boldcityac.com.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
With COVID-19, more local families than ever need food. Our seniors require extra support, and kids stuck at home could use something to smile about. A gift in any amount will make a big difference, especially when you give through Jewish Family and Community Services. Thanks to the Max Block Food Pantry Matching Challenge, your donation will automatically double. Jewish Family and Community Services. Here for hunger, here for Jacks. Learn more at hereforjacks.com.
July is National Carpet Cleaning Month. Get all the carpets in your home cleaned by Zero Res for 25% off the regular price. With Zero Res, there are zero soaps, zero detergents, and zero residue. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com.
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. StarStar Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by ***, providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing *** Mobile from your mobile phone. That's *** Mobile.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Hey, this is Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, WBC heavyweight champion of the world, and you're watching Action Sports Jocks. Bomb Squad!
Last year's over. Once I'm done playing, I can look back on whatever years I went Pro Bowl or had winning seasons and talk to my kids or things about that. But as far as right now, this 2020 season, we're not going to get any wins, and I'm not going to get any accolades based off last year. So that's kind of out the window at this point.
Yeah, you got to hit the reset button. That's the hard thing. There's not much carryover in the NFL. If you want to establish yourself as a really good player like DJ Chark would like to do, you just better do it year after year.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Consistency, Brent.
Simple as that. It's Lee Hao Tong. Why did I think it was Hao Tong Lee?
Well, I mean, depending where he's from, sometimes you pronounce the last name first. Like, Yao Ming was Ming Yao, but everybody called him Yao Ming.
So I think this is the same. I think it's Hao Tong Lee.
Could be.
But his name still reads Lee Hao Tong, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is.
I don't know. I don't know who this guy is, so careful now.
Yeah, I think it's Hao Tong Lee.
He's a golfer? What do you got over there? Okay.
He's from China. He's in the lead at the PGA Championship. And I would know this. I have not had the sound up on any of the coverage today, but I want to make sure it's not a different golfer that I'm used to. But I think it is Hao Tong Lee.
I didn't mess that up, right? I don't want to be disrespectful.
No, I think you're correct. I think you're correct.
Yao Ming
I'm trying not to be either.
Yeah, because Yao Ming had Yao on the back of his jersey, right, when he played, if I'm not mistaken.
Kuz? Driving Dish Podcast. I think he did.
I only ever heard him go or be called Yao Ming.
Yeah, but I mean, I get you're not paying attention right now, and that's okay. But I'm asking, the back of his jersey, was it the back Yao or was it Ming?
Yao. Yao.
I think it was Yao.
It was Yao.
Yeah, because that's how okay, got it. We're good.
Listen, we tried to give you our SAT scores yesterday, okay? I mean, I think we did that.
ESPN 690, we're just back trying to make it again.
Yeah. Not trying to be disrespectful, just not very smart.
Yeah.
Your guy, Tommy Fleetwood, in second place. Let's talk about second place instead. 6 under through 17. You're in the mix.
Oh, I'm more than the mix right now. Okay,
he's having
the
a fantastic
party right now.
round. That means 6 under is out there. Paul Casey, 5 under.
Not worried about him.
Used to be my favorite, like a pick if people would sleep on Paul Casey, and then he just didn't do anything for like years. And here he is playing well at TPC Harding Park. Jason Day will tee off here in just a little bit. Lonto Griffin, I believe he still lives in the area, and I think he does, lives out at Atlantic Beach. He's in the top 5 at 4 under. So Lonto Griffin playing really well.
Is he the guy that's sponsored by Jordan or not?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so, though.
Okay.
Cameron Champ having a heck of a round. He hits it a mile. He's 5 under today. He's 4 under to the tournament. Brendan Todd has dropped to 4 under. There's a bunch of guys at 4 under, including a lot of folks yesterday that have played yesterday and haven't teed off just yet. Adam Scott is 3 under. My guy Tony Finau, my pick to win, tees off in just a couple of minutes. He's 3 under par. And want me to catch you up on Mark Hubbard? Tiger, by the way, will tee off at 4:58. I thought it was 5:30 something, but it's 4:58. And Billy Horschel's even par today, or for the tournament, and he's 1 over today. And a bunch of guys at even par. The projected cut right now is 1 over par.
Oh no!
Which Phil Mickelson is at, with 3 holes to go. Jim Furyk is at, and I think he actually just made another bogey. So
Mark Hubbard's gonna be out then.
Hubbard is 1 over.
Was he 1 over, did you say? Or was he even? Well, regardless, I think he was even. So he still wouldn't make it. Okay.
No, even's good. If you're even, you're in.
I feel like,
is in. Yeah, he's even.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of ideal here. And granted, you still have to work tonight, I assume. But, like, obviously, Tiger. Oh, then I'm sure you're loving life because Tiger doesn't go till you said, what, 4?
It's like 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, yeah. So, I mean, maybe a little night golfing here. Just check it out in Jacksonville.
Absolutely.
A little prime time. That's great.
It's awesome. I mean, I think the West Coast golf is really cool for that. I don't mind it all different times. Like, I like the Ryder Cup or the British Open when it's like super early in the morning. I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and watch.
That?
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Nice.
So I'll do that, but this is preferable.
Yeah.
Like when they have the West Coast golf, it's fantastic. And it's happened a few times now in the last couple of years. So that is good and good for us, especially on a Friday night. We'll be ready to watch the PGA Championship. I was listening to some golf in the last 2 days. You know what they're trying to make a big deal about? Bryson DeChambeau is kind of like they need villains in golf, right? Everybody looks the same.
Yeah.
Everybody swings the same. It's very cookie cutter-esque, and so they need personalities and some that people don't like. The great thing about Tiger and Phil is that they were polarizing. Like, I'm one of the few that I actually really did like both. But you were rooting for Tiger or you were rooting for Phil for the most part. And this is a different Tiger than that Tiger was because you could see why some people were turned off by him and then others were just enamored by him. And he definitely had more fans. It wasn't like it was a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
But Phil obviously had his fan base too.
Can I ask you why Phil Mickelson was wearing some like California State Troopers glasses?
That's his new look right now. They're chewing gum and he's wearing the glasses right now.
Go on. Okay.
Yeah.
Just going to shake my head at that.
He's been doing that for the last month and a half.
Well, he's rocking that CBD gum, right?
Yeah.
That's the hot thing now.
Him and Tiger, didn't they introduce that at the
that
match that they had?
Like horses, man, chewing on that grass nonstop.
But so Bryson DeChambeau is kind of an unlikable guy.
Okay.
In a way. He's just like annoying guy.
Okay.
That's what I'm just saying. That's how he comes off. You can like him or not, and that's I don't even know if that's really true. Like if you listen to him in a news conference, I don't think it's bad. But he's kind of whiny golfer guy.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Brooks Koepka, and I don't know where Koepka is on the likable list.
Okay.
Because the guy never smiles. He's robotic. He's very good.
He's a specimen.
He's a specimen.
But
he's got no personality. Like, he doesn't show it.
Yeah.
Right?
Listen, I mean, a couple months ago, we had the Brooks Koepka rebranding here on ESPN 690. Remember when I had to do that?
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to help him.
Trying to help him out.
Well, what I'm getting around to is I'm listening to some of the golf coverage, and they bring up, like, how much of a feud is going on right now between DeChambeau and Koepka.
Okay.
Because they've kind of taken some shots at each other if you go back the last, 18 months. There's just been a little ribbing here, a little ribbing there, and it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, is that really a feud? Like, does anybody know that feud exists outside the golf world?
I had no idea.
Like, when they brought it up, I'm like, I remember this, sir. I remember this incident, and I get it. And, like, there was something it was like last week or 2 weeks ago when Koepka, one of the golf rules is if there's like an ant pile or something where your ball is, you could move it away. You could take a drop. Well, he wasn't really near it. And he's like, I just saw a red ant come out of here or something.
I'm sorry, this is Bryson DeChambeau or is it Brooks?
DeChambeau.
Okay.
And so...
I don't like that.
So he doesn't get the ruling, right? So they get the ruling, he couldn't drop the ball. Well, like a day later or in that afternoon later, Koepka is over there, and you can hear him say to his caddy, I think I just saw a red ant or something like that. So they've had that kind of stuff going back and forth, which was a very
passive-aggressive jabs. I like it. All right.
But it's like, it's not really a feud. And I guess what I'm getting at, depending on if you think a feud or if you know how much of these guys, DeChambeau and Koepka, again, I think it's a very inside golf kind of feud.
Yeah.
I don't think it's across the board. Everybody's like, we're really talking about this. But can you even have one when you might have two figures that really aren't both like, again, people like Tiger and they liked Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one or the other, but they did.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't find these guys overwhelmingly likable across the board. The masses, they're intrigued right now by DeChambeau. He put on 50 pounds. He's hitting at 400 yards. They're intrigued by Koepka's game, and he's stone cold in these big events. You know, he comes up big, he's clutch. But do they really like him? Are they going out and buying their shoes and their shirts and their hats and their clubs?
Yeah. Here's the thing. I agree with you. I mean, you have to have one hero and one villain. Usually that's the way this whole situation works. Reminds me of like Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt. You know, you have the good guy versus the intimidator. But let's be honest here. You can get away in the sport of golf with having two guys that are kind of unlikable, but they have to be at the top of their game, right? Like they have to be winning. Well, but I'm saying like at the top of their game.
Yeah, DeChambeau hasn't done that yet.
Exactly. If you remember like Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor. Huge fight, right? Well, Conor McGregor, people want to call him cocky, obviously, arrogant. Floyd Mayweather's had his legal problems, obviously. Some people out there don't like him as well, but, like, they're at the top of their games, so it works. So, like, if Bryson DeChambeau has a couple majors underneath his belt, along with Brooks Koepka, well, now you got something. Because now it's like the two top guys going back and forth. Unfortunately, right now, like, I get Brooks Koepka is a pretty big name. DeChambeau, I think, more for just the optics of, you know, the weight gain, the muscle gain. He still has to win some more, in my opinion. But if they start winning, then you might have something there.
Yeah, I guess, that's why a lot of people, I guess the preface of this was a lot of people want to see them paired together sometime on the weekend in a major championship, see if we see any drama or looks or any of those kind of things. That'd be interesting.
That is the beauty of golf, man, more than like NASCAR when you have those fights. With golf, you have to like stand right next to each other half the day.
You don't get to pick it. If you're the same on the leaderboard, you're going off together maybe on a Sunday to win the PGA Championship. We'll see if it comes to that. Irrational Jags fan, by the way, says, don't forget Gruden had Dalton and A.J. Green in Cincinnati. Hey, maybe it could be the Minshew and DJ Chark.
It's a dang good point there.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
And A.J. Green was a featured wide receiver, so I stand corrected.
Hey, listen, I'll take DJ Chark if he's A.J. Green.
Who you telling, man? just stay healthy, though.
Absolutely.
Just stay healthy.
4 o'clock coming up. FSU at 4. A player opts out. We'll tell you who it was next on ESPN 690.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference. Like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right?
Of course, making sure you have no holes in your defense.
Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless, and you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G.
And no contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. Check out terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Goodyear knows why we all love basketball. It's the sound of the buzzer, the roar of the crowd, the swish of the net. It's the spin on the ball as it's released, the squeaking sneakers before an inbound pass, the timeout that gives us perspective on the moment. We love basketball because we love movement. And now that it's back, we're asking you, the fans, what moves you? Goodyear. more driven.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Come to the grand opening of Q Delicia, the best Mexican-American sports bar in town. Enjoy ice-cold beer, $10 sangria pitchers, along with the best quesadillas and fajitas in town while watching the game. If you can't go, at least you can watch. But don't be surprised if you hear, goal! You can watch football, NFL, NBA, MLB, boxing, UFC, and more on multiple HD TVs. Visit Q Delicia for the grand opening on 3980 Southside Boulevard today. Q Delicia, the Mexican-American sports bar you never knew you needed. Call 904-253-3477.
Tiger Woods is at 2 under. He'll tee off in less than an hour, and live second-round coverage continues right now on ESPN. After another Cardinals player tests positive for COVID-19, tonight's Cubs-Cardinals game in St. Louis postponed. No word yet on the rest of the series this weekend. In the battle for the last NBA playoff spot in the West, ESPN's Tim Bontemps says the Trailblazers could be a matchup problem for the Lakers.
When you look at the way that Portland goes into that series, Dame Lillard and C.J. McCollum are two guys that the Lakers don't really have anyone that they can put on them, especially without Avery Bradley.
Pelicans rookie Zion Williamson is out for rest tonight against the Wizards. New Orleans is 2.5 games behind that last playoff spot. The Spurs are in that battle, too. They beat the Jazz today 119-111. Derek White with 24 points for the Spurs.
Did you know that right now, Geico is offering an extra 15% credit on car, motorcycle, and RV policies? That's on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? Visit geico.com to learn more.
What's up, it's Austin Lane of Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. If you didn't catch today's episode, I'm not mad at you, not even disappointed, but check out what you missed. If I'm going to be taken out by a hurricane, I want to be taken out by the biggest, most intimidating hurricane, and that's Bertha. You're not going to say, whoa, here comes Bertha dating Tom Brady. You're going to say, well, there's Bertha at the Golden Corral line pushing people out of the way to get a second helping. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but that's probably been used in a sentence before. Check out our podcast on all platforms. Just search ESPN 690. Subscribe to our podcast. Thanks.
Impactful stories.
If you're that linebacker sizing him up on that play, you're not sitting there thinking, boy, this young man is a great story.
The biggest names in the game.
It almost feels like people are positioning this like Burrow is being set up to fail in Cincinnati.
Plus, Mike Greenberg.
Who saw that coming? You seem to be very passionate about this, and I like it.
Greeny, he's back on your radio. Coming August 17th to the all-new ESPN Radio.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jacks and ESPN 690. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jacks on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jacks.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, welcome back on a Friday. Hope you're doing well, everybody. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos here on a Friday afternoon in Jacksonville, where it gets dark around 4 o'clock now. I mean, it is unbelievable. Yesterday, I walked out of here at 6 o'clock, and you would have thought we were doing the 9 to midnight shift.
Yeah. Just missed that rainstorm, by the way. I was pumped.
I drove all the way home in it.
Well, I'm saying like from leaving the building to walking outside, I missed it.
You're going to get your hair wet. That's good.
Yeah. Well, it shreds, Brent.
I mean, it
does stuff.
It's been, I mean, these afternoon storms, we kind of, I don't know to say we joked. I think it's reality. It's like some of these hurricanes that everybody talks about for 3 or 4 weeks, days coming on, and tropical storms, they couldn't hold a candle to these storms that happen spontaneously at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like the end of the world is coming.
Yeah. Just when Mother Nature feels like it, man, here we are. It is kind of creepy. It's
and
eerie.
By the way, in 2020, when we say the end of the world is coming, like some people believe it.
Dude, who you telling, man? We had murder bees, aliens, storms.
And whatever happened to the murder hornets?
Hey, I don't know, man. Is this another government conspiracy? I don't know, Brent. You tell me what happened.
That popped up for about 3 days and then disappeared.
Well, because then COVID-19 came around. And
no,
all of a sudden
it was in the middle of COVID-19.
Was it really? You're right. You're absolutely right. I guess just COVID-19 had precedent over the murder bees?
It must have taken a turn.
So check this out. My grandpa's a big beekeeper.
Yeah.
Had a little bear running. He wasn't there, but the bear
likes honey, I would assume.
Yep, knocked out. Well, it's the honey, but it's like the comb, because that's like where the eggs are, packed full of protein. So the bear knocked over 2 of those boxes and then cleaned out all the larvae and all the honeycomb and everything. So he's kind of bummed about that. But he still has 20 more boxes, so we're all good.
Is that an expensive thing when that happens?
It's not ideal. Probably a couple $100, I would say. But now he's on bear patrol trying to check it out. He ended up putting up he's got an electric fence, and then he actually plays a radio because the sound of the music deters the bears. Supposedly.
I was wondering that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So there you go.
So basically, he had a visit from Winnie the Pooh in his yard.
Basically, Winnie the Pooh, probably not as friendly. Wouldn't want to say what's up to him. Probably doesn't have a pet or a friend, a pet tiger. Was it a pet tiger or just a friend that was a tiger? Tigger. It's just his friend, right? It wasn't his pet, though.
It wasn't his pet.
Okay.
It's just one of his friends.
One of his friends. Well, my bad. I'm getting confused with Disney because Mickey Mouse had the pet Pluto, but then also he had Goofy, who was a friend who was a dog, which made 0 sense. But hey, that's neither here nor there.
If you want me to go over the organizational chart of Disney and Winnie the Pooh and Mickey,
yeah,
I don't think I could do it.
Okay. Well, you seem like a pretty big Winnie the Pooh guy, so Shout out to Christopher Robin out there. Shout out to Christopher Robin. Did he have parents, by the way? Christopher Robin?
Here we go again.
That kid's just in the woods, just by himself with a bunch of creatures. Parents not even worried about it.
I don't know about the family tree for Christopher Robin.
A little family backstory would have been nice.
SEC's going to announce their two SEC non-divisional opponents for each school. There were some rumblings that Florida would play Alabama and Texas A&M. We'll see if those rumblings were true or not, although there were some folks that said, it wasn't true. So we'll find out. Apparently that's coming up at 6 o'clock. Well, we'll be off the air. We'll tweet about it. So I saw 5 o'clock, but actually that's 5 o'clock Central. So that's coming up a little bit later today. We'll see what happens with that situation. We'll keep you updated on the PGA Championship as well. And we like to do a little FSU at 4 o'clock. Florida State Seminoles. Your home for Florida State football and basketball here in Jacksonville. Now it's on ESPN 690. We just announced that a week ago today, in fact, and welcome aboard to the Seminoles fans. Practice is now underway. Mike Norvell saying the quarterbacks look pretty good. Thought all 4 of them did. Thought they looked crisper. I think his quote was throwing and catching the ball. We looked better than we did those 3 practices we had in the spring.
Yeah.
So I guess a better start for Mike Norvell, the quarterbacks, and maybe this offense. Marvin Wilson's a guy we talked about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, we just talked about him yesterday about coming back, and you got to give him a lot of credit for coming back. And some players are opting out, especially if you're surefire first-round pick, and Wilson's a top 10 guy.
Without a doubt.
Could easily opt out of this thing, given everything, new coach and the run-in a little bit with the new coach and now COVID-19. Easy opt-out guy. And he's holding firm and staying. In fact, he doesn't like the fact the guy's opting out, especially in his kind of position. Here's what he had to say about it.
I came too far not to just turn back around. I put too much work into this program, put too much emphasis into some of these young guys' life, and I feel like that'd be a form of quitting, in my opinion, just to opt out at this last moment right before the season when we worked so hard all together in this off season through this pandemic, through tough times, just to really just to give up, And I just feel like that'd be disrespectful to them, showing them the way of how to be a true no and just leaving them at the last minute. So I don't work out like that. So I'm definitely play the season, and I'm really just giving it my all.
So that's Marvin Wilson, sensational defensive tackle for the Florida State Seminoles. And now the way I interpreted that was that's his thinking. That's in his situation. Yeah. He thinks he'd be quitting on the team as a leader of the football team, one of the better players, if he had said, hey, I'm out now. I've come all this way, I'm out. You respect the heck out of it. I respect the heck out of what he said. Interestingly enough, one of his defensive line mates, defensive end Jamarcus Chapman, announcing today he's opting out of the 2020 season. This in from Mike Norvell. Jamarcus Chapman has decided to opt out. We respect his decision, and like any of our student athletes who make this decision, he will remain on scholarship. Chapman would go on to say, the reason I chose to opt out is because this is a serious deal that's going on in the world today. A close friend of my family is in the hospital suffering from COVID-19. That hit too close to home. My family and I decided that to be safe, I should opt out this season. So there he is, won't lose scholarship, get that eligibility back, but he's not playing. So it's an interesting dynamic. A day after Wilson says, hey, I'm not going to do it, I feel like I'm quitting, one guy does. But I think it's an important thing to remember in the context under it. I don't think, unless I just haven't seen something come out, I don't think Wilson will be critical of this. I think to each his own. I think Wilson was more bringing up his situation. Yeah. Now, some interpreted it as he was being critical of the other guys that have done it, from Virginia Tech, Miami, and Penn State, and others. I think, was it Minnesota? Another key player did too. And I didn't look at it as much that way. I think he was kind of saying from his own I would feel like I'm quitting on my team if I did it. Yeah, I mean, you definitely get his thought about it and his mindset. At the same time, though, like, let's be honest. I mean, when you say things like that, like, obviously you're a leader in that locker room. Your opinion is valued, obviously, as a member of the Seminoles. So I think when some of his teammates heard that, they could have been turned off a little bit. Because at the end of the day, I mean, let's be honest here. I love Marvin Wilson's passion. I love the fact that he chose not to opt out. I love the fact that he's going to be the bridge from the old to the new, and he's going to be that guy that kind of brings everything together and kind of the guy that keeps everything in check. And when he leaves, he's going to leave it in good hands. So I love Marvin Wilson for doing that. At the same time, though, it's still football, man, okay? It's still a game. It's still a game where you got a pigskin and you throw and you tackle, and it's ridiculous. If you try to explain to someone that doesn't follow the game, it's an absolutely ridiculous explanation, okay? There's more important things than football, like family, like your kids, things like that. So I get what Marvin Wilson was trying to say, and I'm not telling him to censor himself whatsoever, because I like the passion, and I think that's what Florida State needs right now more than anything is guys like Marvin Wilson. So I'm not knocking him for it. I'm just saying, overall, though, we got to understand there's bigger things than just football. There's family. I think you got to be respectful of guys opting out. I think organizations have been. I think head coaches have been. I think programs have been. I think you have to be respectful of it. And I think it's almost like you're immune of criticism. I really do. Now, I understand that's not necessarily the case because there's a thing called social media. Yeah. And Tre'Davious White obviously brought that up. He was getting a lot of heat back when he was even thinking about it. I really don't know why he brought that out, social media, to think about it, but right. But that was kind of at least a temperature check of, hey, you're going to get some feedback now. So, if the Jags had Leonard Fournette opt out, there would be heavy criticism. No doubt. I mean, not everyone's going to be like, hey, we get it, Leonard. Now, some people will, and maybe even a vast majority would. But yeah, there's going to be some people out there going to be upset. Absolutely. That's my point. So you're going to have those folks, but I do think in terms of the inner workings of wherever you are, in your building at Jags headquarters, in this case, in Tallahassee at Florida State, coaching staff, players, I think there's a respect level for these kind of decisions right now that almost makes you a little immune of a criticism. Now, again, I'm not in there, so maybe I have a bad read on that. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of the sense I get, at least from higher-ups and teammates, everything else. Yeah, we respect that. We all have a decision to make. We all thought about it to that degree. So I think that's just the way it's going to be received. And the college kids are a little different. They got a lot of money on the line, potentially the next year, potentially. And not so much maybe in Chapman's case as it is in Rousseau's case down in Miami. Yeah. But everybody's got a different reason. Well, exactly. And see, when you start talking about the college kids, whether it's sitting out for COVID-19, prepping for the draft, or if it's sitting out that bowl game, well, now we're starting talking about business decisions, right? And sometimes business decisions can get gawked at. It turns people off a little bit.
to me, these aren't business decisions, though. If you're going to opt out because of COVID-19, once again, this is a family decision. And I think any guy in that locker room, while they could be disappointed they're going to lose a teammate and obviously a pretty great player, they understand it, okay? I think they can come around to it. Now, people online, that's different, you know? I mean, that 40-year-old dude eating Cheetos sitting in his mom's basement probably has something to say about it. So be it. But once again, I've always said this, Twitter, it's not the real world, okay? As long as you have the respect from your coaches, you have the respect from your teammates and that inner circle, you're going to be okay.
I like it. I think I really love the outspoken nature of Wilson. He's not afraid to say anything, of course. He's a true leader of that football team and is maybe their best player. No doubt he's one of their two best players, I would think, but I think he's their best player. Mm-hmm. And they need that kind of leadership. They need that kind of the edge. You know, they need those guys. You need more of those guys, but you need those guys at Florida State right now to help turn this thing around with Mike Norvell. And you got to embrace that stuff. You got to be ready to handle that stuff. And I think I love it if I'm a Florida State fan. I mean, obviously, you love Marvin Wilson because he's so good if you're a Florida State fan. But I kind of love all the stuff outside of the football field on Marvin Wilson more than anything else.
Listen, I can't trust this enough from Marvin Wilson just being the bridge, though, because I was in that situation as well. We were going through a coaching change my senior year. Our head coach got fired. We knew the writing was on the wall, and next year is going to be completely different. Well, it was my senior year, right? So, I mean, and granted, I wasn't going to transfer. I wasn't going to opt out, anything like that. But I wanted to make sure that when I left Murray State, it was better than when I came into it. Like, I wanted to make sure that when I passed the reins on to the juniors and the sophomores, that it was going to be in good hands. You know, so I wanted to see it through because we weren't going to win a conference championship, okay? We weren't going to win a national title. So, like, my whole thing was I have love for Murray State. I have pride for Murray State, and I want these guys to understand that, and I want to see this through so one day when I come back to on campus, it's better than when I got there, okay? And that's thankfully what I was able to do, and I think that's kind of the same thing right now with Wilson. Well, let's be honest. I mean, we're optimistic maybe about Florida State. We're not talking national championships. We're not talking ACC championships, all right? We're talking about Norvell coming in, trying to turn things around from a couple seasons that were a disappointment, to say the least. And I think Wilson's took it upon himself that he just wants to see this through. And that says a lot about, number one, his character, but number two, what Florida State means to him. Because I'll be honest with you, man, not everybody can do what Wilson does, okay? And you can't fake it. You can't fake it till you make it. That's genuine. So I have a lot of respect for Marvin Wilson.
Yeah, no doubt. I do too. And, you know, here's the thing. We're a couple hours away from Tallahassee, and nobody's really embedded anymore with any of these teams. It feels like we're all distant to a degree. Mm-hmm. But where this could have gone a few months ago with Wilson and Norvell to now, and I think Wilson's a huge part of the reason why, I feel like there's so much buy-in on Norvell. Like a buy-in that I just don't know. Maybe you felt that with Taggart when he first got hired, but it's quickly it kind of dissipated. It never really took off even more in terms of the buy-in. And as soon as they hit the field, I mean, heck, people were bailing more than buying in. I think there's so much buy-in right now. I get the feeling from Norvell, and I'm telling you, once again, just a key on Wilson, I think he's a big reason why, because he could have taken that back and forth with Norvell a few months back in an entirely different direction. He might have helped salvage at least this part going into the 2020 season.
See, listen, the thing, and granted, I didn't cover the Florida State Seminoles underneath a microscope a couple years ago when Willie Taggart came into town. But I remember being excited for the Florida State Seminoles because of the offense, because of the intrigue. You know, like he's bringing the Gulf Coast offense to Florida State. So to me, the buy-in came more from that, even came more from the recruiting, because we figured the recruiting was always going to be there. But now we're going to have an explosive, high-powered Florida State offense to showcase all those skill positions. Like that, to me, is where the buy-in came in. Even more than maybe the culture building, even more than the coaching resume, the buy-in came in, for me at least, was the Gulf Coast offense. Now, we saw how that paid off. I think Mike Norvell coming in, the buy-in is a little more of a culture change. It's a little more of, listen, we're not going to have it like it was in the past. We're going forward. There's going to be some things that are different. Yes, I have an offensive-minded philosophy, and we're going to be high-powered, but Norvell kind of brings, I think, that culture kind of changing thing, which obviously Florida State desperately needs right now.
Really quick thought about the SEC and the schedule that's supposed to come out 6 o'clock, right at the end of our show, really. 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central is the story out of Hoover, Alabama, and the SEC. And they'll add these two non-division games to the schedule because they're going conference only in the SEC. And, of course, there's still a little heck, I think even the governor mentioned the Florida State game, still trying to think that would happen or could happen or should happen. Well, it ain't happening. I mean, they've already, Florida State scheduled Samford. They're doing the 10-game conference schedule thing in the SEC, which I think can be fantastic, which all these conferences with these 10 conference games, I think is going to be awesome. It's just so much better from a casual football standpoint than playing the cupcakes. And, yes, you don't get some of the good games. I mean, obviously, in a normal year, we would have had Florida State, or we could have had Florida State, West Virginia to lead off. Could have been an intriguing game and a fun game. Yeah. We don't get those. But in the SEC, just talking about that real quick, when this announcement comes out, I mean, it can really shift the balance depending on who gets the luck of the draw and who ends up playing who. And I think the reasoning, if I go back to a week and a half ago, the reasoning for, like, Florida, for instance, why they might play Alabama and Texas A&M is they would have been kind of next in the rotation, and so people assumed that's the way they were going to go with these other two games. Well, I can tell you this. I don't think, I shouldn't say, I can tell you, I wouldn't think Florida fans and people in Gainesville want that to be the case. Because you've already got to deal with Georgia in the East, and you got the rest of the SEC. But throw Alabama in there, who's number 3 in the country, and I think Texas A&M in this first preseason poll was 13 in the country.
Yeah.
You talk about adding some depth to your schedule. Oof.
Well, listen, anytime you play in the SEC, it is a murderer's row, right? And let's be honest, Brent, we know how coaches operate. Yeah, we want to challenge. We want to test ourselves. We want to compete. You mean to tell me right now Dan Mullen's like, bring on Alabama. Bring on A&M, man. Well, let's go. Like, this is SEC football. Heck no, man. Are you kidding me? You want to play Alabama? And A&M, we'll see with Texas A&M. I think they're always overhyped to start the season, and then they always fool you. We'll see with A&M. But Alabama for sure. Like, listen, if you're meant to see them, you're going to see them. But the last thing, to me, you want to see if you're a Florida Gators fan is Alabama during the regular season.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, Texas A&M would be on the heavier side of that schedule too. I mean, that's not. It's not like you're getting Ole Miss.
Game. No, I get you. But.
So, although Ole Miss would be interesting now with.
Yeah, they could be a couple years away
with Kiffin.
Yeah,
I tell you, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I mean, I went to the Egg Bowl last year.
Yeah,
Egg Bowl now for the next few years with Leach and Kiffin.
Well, let me ask you this real quick: who has more success? Right off the bat, you think? Actually, no, that's not fair because, I mean, that's not their guys are recruiting. In the next 5 years, are we going to be talking more about Mississippi State or more about Ole Miss?
Mm-hmm. Good call. Good call. 5 years, first of all, is a long time.
It is.
To even make sure they still have a job.
They're still going to be there.
That's what my first thought goes.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give it to, I'm going to say Mississippi State.
Okay.
They've had more success anyway. It feels like they've been able to get better players overall.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot to come out from underneath at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Even though that was now a couple years ago. My only hesitation here is, first of all, Kiffin hasn't proven that he can get it done really at this level enough.
Yeah.
Are you completely bought in on Kiffin? Leach looks like he gets more than people expect out of his teams, but then you go back and you look at like the records and say it's not like it doesn't wow you.
Yeah.
He gets a lot out of like his offense and usually a lot out of his quarterbacks. And then he has a
his
year or two.
His offense being the key phrase there, yeah.
But he has a year or two where he really pops.
Yeah.
But I think overall you're like, okay. It's just like he's such a fun character that you almost think he's better than he is.
Sure.
And he's pretty good. I just don't know if he's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still going to go Mississippi State. Bring it on.
I'm going Ole Miss, man. I think Ole Miss, and I think Kiffin, man. I just think that in terms of recruiting, I think in terms of just overall game philosophy, and it's not a knock whatsoever on what Mississippi State's going to bring to the table, But if we look back at what Leach does, I mean, obviously it's very offensive-minded. And I think last year in the SEC, we saw more offensive-minded philosophies than we did defense. Usually it's tough defense, the SEC, pound the rock, pro-style offenses. We saw a little more spread last year than we were accustomed to.
We're seeing more offense.
Exactly. But I think that Kiffin can kind of offer that right balance. I think he did a fantastic job at Florida Atlantic, obviously. And he got some pretty big recruits over there. I think, having that Ole Miss brand now. And I still think there's something cool to Ole Miss. So I think they get the better recruits. I think Ole Miss is on the map more than Mississippi State in 5 years. Sorry to your neighbors out there, Brendan, whoever I just offended.
Listen, you're the ones who got to deal with them. I mean, I just picked and I just rang the bell.
Yeah.
I mean,
what does Ole Miss have? Is there it's a Chark thing, right? That's about it. Can you play Baby Shark, Coos?
Ole Miss, yeah, but Ole Miss
I'm kidding.
Allegedly has something better. And that is the Grove.
Oh, the Grove. That's right. Hot toddies.
Yeah.
Hot toddies all around. Yeah.
So, I mean, hands down, if I ask that question, where's the best place to go in the SEC? People say Ole Miss.
Isn't that what Alyssa Lang said when we had her on to answer that question?
Did.
Yeah, the Grove,
but everybody says it.
Do we have to go on location there one time to see what it's all about, Brent?
I do. I don't think it's happening in 2020, but I think we do have to go.
Sure, yeah. We're just by ourselves out there.
We're just out there by ourselves. Yeah. That's always fascinating answer to me, and it also must say how good it is because they are not good. True. So the vibe and the atmosphere and all that stuff, it's not like going to Auburn, Alabama or something like that. But Ole Miss people say it's awesome.
Yeah.
And they really aren't even that good at football. Mm-hmm. Or haven't been really overall. But I'm telling you, to a person, every time I ask that question, they say, hey, these places are great, but you got to go to Ole Miss.
Okay. Well, when we go, one preface, all right? One thing I'm going to say before we go. When we go one day, I'm not wearing boat shoes, I'm not going to tuck in my shirt, and I'm not wearing a collared shirt. And that's final.
You will look different probably.
And you know what? And that's fine.
In Oxford.
Hey, that's fine. Come to the Big Ten one time. See how we tailgate. Yeah. Sweatshirts, jeans, come as you are. We don't got to dress up to drink and get drunk. What's the point of that? That's like a double negative. No, thank you.
Double negative.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're just jumping in on the Kiffin or Leach in the SEC, who will be better? I say Leach.
I say Kiffin.
You're bought in on Kiffin.
I mean, are we going to put this down in the bet? I mean,
that's a good idea.
It's kind of a long-term bet.
I think you said 5 years. We don't even know if our show will exist in 5 years.
Am I going to be alive
quite
in 5
frankly,
years?
I didn't know if it would last 18 months, and here we are on month 20.
All right, I'll put it down then. I'll put it in the archives. So, two-toe wager coming up.
But I'd say let's go 3 years.
3? Okay, I'll allow it. Yeah,
3 years.
3 years it is.
That's fair enough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't start doing things in 3 years, well, then you're probably not going to make it to year 5.
I mean, we can go 10 years if you want because by then my son will be a senior in high school, and you better believe I'm going to influence him and go to Ole Miss if I have to, just to try to win a bet. Oh, you want to go to Wisconsin? You want to go play for Florida? Nah, son, Ole Miss where we're going.
Here's the other part of that, by the way. You can whoever wins that is might be just barely 500 in the SEC West.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're still going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. I mean, you got in Auburn, Alabama, LSU, and if Texas A&M ever starts coming along with Jimbo Fisher, then you got that.
And here you and I are just cheering the bottom levels.
We got to bet on the bottom feeders, baby.
With the Vanderbilts and the Ole Misses and all those guys. Yeah.
We got to take a break. We come back. Barry Bonds' home run record 13 years ago. Is it the least celebrated milestone that you know of that kind of significance? Thoughts on Barry Bonds? We got some interesting comments on social media. We'll share those. Give you an update on PGA Championship. Tiger Woods about a half hour away from teeing it up out at TPC Harding Park. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny, hot, and humid today. Scattered afternoon and early evening storms. Highs 90 to 95, dropping into the mid-70s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing.
Guys love shopping at Diamonds Direct because they can always get a bigger, better diamond for less.
We got a higher quality diamond for less money than we looked at any other stores that we went to.
I even shopped down in Mexico, thinking maybe down in the Caribbean it would be better off, and nothing could beat what I found here.
The value and the deal that you can get by cutting out the middleman.
You're certainly getting quality and price, which you don't find elsewhere.
But beyond the value, what guys really love about Diamonds Direct is they make it easy with transparency, education, guidance, and respect for you and your budget.
What I thought was going to be a stressful situation ended up being completely pleasant, enjoyable process from beginning to end.
For all the dudes out there, buying jewelry is difficult and stressful. Diamonds Direct eliminates all that.
If you're looking for zero hassle, zero high-pressure sales techniques, Diamonds Direct is the place to go.
Discover a truly guy-friendly jewelry shopping experience.
I guarantee you that once you walk in these stores, you're not going to go anywhere else.
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt.
There's a new modern patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care on patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge are in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence, or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-206-8105. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
Mortgage rates are at historic all-time lows. There's no better time. Duval! Purchase your first home or refinance with Crossview Mortgage. At Crossview, they have a proven track record with VA loans and helping people even when the big banks can't. Get pre-qualified. Do your application by phone in minutes. Let them help you save thousands. Call Crossview Mortgage, 325-9008. That's 325-9008. CrossviewMortgage.com. NMLS number 1377291.
Is your business losing sales from the current pandemic? Are you trying to remain in touch with important clients? If you're struggling with questions like this, you're not alone. Many small businesses are currently in a severe crisis and need immediate assistance. As the nation's premier organization supporting small businesses, SCORE offers webinars on a variety of topics that can help you manage through this crisis. Click on the Take a Workshop tab at jacksonville.score.org and register today.
Hey, it's Coos from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jacks.
Most of our homes have really taken a beating over the past few months. With the kids, the pets, and everyone else coming in and out, don't worry. Zero Res is ready to help. Zero Res is the only way to clean your carpet and tile. The right way. More than just another carpet cleaner. It's in the technology. Zero Res uses its patented powered water that cleans beautifully without using any soaps, detergents, or harmful chemicals. That means your home will stay cleaner longer because you don't have any of that crunchy residue left behind. See for yourself. Google Zero Res and read over 3,000 five-star reviews. Those Zero Res guys are cleaning freaks. Call now and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Remember to mention WOKV and get an additional room clean for free. That's right, the 4th room is on me. Call Zero Res at 904-287-5727. That's 904-287-5727. Zero Res. Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired?
The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine is a fully accredited, tuition-free state public school that gives children an edge for a lifetime of success. FSDB is nationally recognized for its educational services designed for students' unique communication and accessibility needs. Eligible pre-K and kindergarten through 12th grade students benefit from small class sizes, advanced technology, and various recreation, extracurricular, and performing arts activities. Transportation and boarding services are free to any eligible deaf or blind student, kindergarten through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. My name is Trent Ferguson, and I'm a proud graduate of this wonderful school. This place changes lives. To learn more information or to apply for enrollment, call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org.
Hey, I'm Jay DeMarcus from Rascal Flats, and this is Action Sports Jax.
Why didn't I grow up and do this instead? 25 years they've been doing it. Pro Watercross. And it's coming to St. Augustine this weekend. It's here, the national championships. In fact, they've canceled next week's event, which I think would have been the final event. So this becomes the national championship for the Pro Watercross event at Volano Beach in St. Augustine this weekend. Get out there, check it out tomorrow. And right now we're going to talk and learn a little bit more about it. Usually we can do our homework on some of these interviews.
Yeah.
This one, not so much. Like, I don't know a lot about it. I said that already. Yeah. So we're going to learn. We're all going to learn together. And we're going to bring in Sean Ninesling right now. He's one of the competitors, and he does this for a living, or at least part-time. What's up, Sean? How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, great. Thanks for jumping in. All right, when you tell people you do this for a living, Pro Watercross, you explain it how?
I explain it how. It's just basically super modified jet skis, either stand-up sport, runabout class. I'm actually a vet rider. I haven't been raced in 14 years, so my kids are of age now, so this is actually their first race, so we're just getting back into the sport.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So what's the age that it usually runs?
10. You can ride a stand-up, and at the age of 12 or 13 you can ride a sit-down. And then they have all sorts of different classes for different skill levels and engine sizes and so forth.
I kind of kidded around earlier in the show. I was like, in my mind, I have that old video game called Jet Moto. And does it anything like it?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is actually. They have two different scenarios here. They've got a closed course and then a super course.
Interesting.
Which is there a can you tell us like kind of the difference? Like what's the style? What's it look from a fan perspective? What would you be watching?
The closed course is basically very similar to a motocross start where you're at a gate. It's held back by essentially a rubber band, and they hold up a card and pop the rubber band. Everybody starts at the same time, and it's just there's I guess red and yellow or green buoys, and you navigate through the closed course, which is typically 1 to 2 miles long. You can see it easily from shore. It's a great spectator sport, especially if there's big waves, which with these storms rolling in, we are anticipating big waves. And then the super course is just essentially a big NASCAR type course where it's super high speed, up to probably 90 miles an hour, a couple chicanes in it, but it's usually anywhere from 2 to 5 mile long course.
Sean, by my understanding, there's a few classes here of jet ski. Obviously, I've been on a jet ski before. I've been on the one where you sit down. The ones that you stand up on seem way more intense, seem way more extreme, and it seems like you have to have a lot more lower body strength to try to get those things to operate and not fall off. Is that a correct statement right there?
Absolutely, 100%. And that's actually very, very big part of the sport. The stand-up is probably as many stand-ups as sit-downs here.
Interesting. So now when you say, do the competitors, are they hoping for big waves and kind of what these storms might be rolling in?
I know I do, because that typically separates, I guess, the men from the boys when it's real rough. it's not all horsepower and boat. So I would say most of the competitors that are serious about the sport would probably like more of the rough stuff. I always did. That was always my forte back when I raced pretty much full time.
Yeah, Sean Ninesling with us. He's a local rider, and pro watercross is coming up. But actually, his kids will be entered in this event coming up this weekend in St. Augustine, Volano Beach. I think everything kind of gets going around 11 in the morning, so check it out. Should be a lot of excitement. A little different. If you're looking for something different to do this weekend, it certainly fits the category. How did you even fall into this? I mean, everybody says, hey, let's go ride jet skis. That's kind of cool. Like, I get that part, but how did you get into this sport?
I actually, believe it or not, started racing in '96, and I achieved a national championship a world championship in '02, and in the expert class, and had some kids. And the sport, you can't race. The kids can't race until they're 10 years old. So we've been running motocross, and my youngest just turned 10. So I saw that the national tour stop was coming to St. Augustine, and we literally scrambled the last 3 days, bought 3 jet skis that were ready to race, and literally took the kids out to the ocean riding the first time yesterday. And so this will be their first time racing in the ocean, and first time racing period, actually.
That's
awesome. I just got into it because it was a pretty big deal back then, and it's kind of faded off for a little bit, and it's getting real big again.
That's very cool. So you see that? We can go pick it up.
Yeah,
real quick.
Absolutely. Well, so you said, like, in terms of motocross, I mean, are there some similarities between, riding a dirt bike essentially and riding a jet ski that you can actually use to benefit yourself riding a jet ski?
Yeah, I would think if you've got motocross background, you're going to have a little bit of advantage, just because it's very similar with especially on an offshore race where there's waves and it's rough.
Good stuff. Sean Ninesling, thanks for jumping in, man. Have a good weekend with us. Hope the kids do well. Send us a picture or something, and I'll put them on TV this weekend as well. But hopefully we'll have some cameras down there at the Pro Watercross event. Volano Beach in St. Augustine gets going tomorrow. Check it out around 11 in the morning. Really goes through most of the afternoon. Have some fun down there. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You bet. That's Sean Ninesling. Pretty cool learning about that, and check it out if you're looking for something. Everybody's always looking for something to do.
Yeah.
And especially these days.
Without
Get
a
out
doubt,
of the house
man.
a little bit, but probably still in a safe way. Watch that from the shoreline in Volano Beach, and you should be good to go. That's wild that he went out and bought a couple of jet skis. Said, "Hey, go out in the ocean and try this.
Let's try
kids."
this. Yeah. I mean, can you guys swim? Okay, good. Let's go. Like, I mean, it's crazy, man. It's insane.
But I don't
make it a family affair.
I can tell that his kids are probably pretty adventurous, though.
Oh, dude! I mean, you ran. Listen, motocross, man. It's not for everybody, bro. Not sure you've been on a dirt bike before, but once you start hitting those rollers and everything, man, it can be intense.
I've been on a dirt bike, back in the day, like when I was like, gosh, I must have been 6, 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
Why would my parents have let me on a dirt bike at 6? It was just a little guy.
For sure.
And we weren't doing anything like racing.
Trail bike. It was like a little trail bike. Yeah, I had a trail bike
Those
too
things
growing
were
up.
Fun.
Oh, who you telling, man?
Why did I stop riding?
I had a Honda 70 CR, man. That was so much fun. Yeah.
I never got into it more after that. But I actually had some kids. I remember going to school with, there was one kid, and he was like a nationally, when we were in, I want to say 8th grade.
Okay.
He was a nationally ranked guy. I don't know where he went on with it, if he ended up continuing to do it.
It's probably like Jeremy McGrath or somebody huge, like you don't even know.
I forgot his name.
Yeah, you don't even know, but it's like the best guy ever, Okay, cool.
You know how many people say that in Iowa about John Bachman?
What's that?
It'd be like, remember that guy in like 7th or 8th grade? Look at him now. He's anchoring Action News Jacks, CBS 47, Fox 30's made it big.
Absolutely.
And he's on ESPN 690 right now. See that?
Yes, sir.
That's when you know you've made it. When you're on with Brent and Austin, baby, in the afternoon. Oh, man, I'm telling you.
Not only that, but you just backed up pro watercross talk.
That is pretty awesome. I was going to chime in and say I never had a bike or a ski-doo or whatever, but I did. We had snowmobiles where I grew up in Minnesota. So,
John, were you an Arctic Cat guy, Polaris? What are you rocking here for snowmobiles?
Polaris mostly. Although I never owned one anyway because my parents didn't get into that sort of thing. But all my buddies seemed to have Polaris. I think we ran a couple of Arctic Cats every now and again.
Okay.
But Polaris was the. I think that's kind of the big. I could be wrong, but I think Polaris one of those is built either in Wisconsin or Minnesota, isn't it? I could be making that up.
Possibly. Yeah, I think it might be Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That makes some
yeah.
sense.
So whichever one was built in Minnesota, I'm sure we rolled with more often than the others.
Well, more jet skiing down here than snowmobiling. That is for sure.
No doubt.
And
No
when you
doubt.
can't do that, it's golfing. And a couple of weeks back, we had you on for the play day, and I had to reach deep into the pockets to help out the first tee of North Florida. Not on the first day of golf, but on the second one, we lit up the scoreboard a little better. Give us the results, man. You guys shared results today. How did it go?
We did. We did a live broadcast on the Action News Jack's Facebook page at 2:00. It was a riot. We did great stuff. First of all, a couple things. Number one, Brent, thank you very much. You did, in fact, you helped promote it, but you also did give very generously. And I got to tell you, all those donations paid off. You won 2 sleeves of Pro V1 golf balls that we then generously, on your behalf, donated back to the kiddies, so somebody else won.
You're going to lose them anyways, Brent.
Yeah, well, very true.
You're going to lose them anyways.
Those are going to last about 6 holes.
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember who won them after you, but somebody won them, and we'll enjoy them thoroughly. So well done on that. You did not win the round of golf with Len Matisse and a buddy. That went to a woman named Lisa Brown, and she was actually watching the live Facebook broadcast and was very excited. She chimed in online, and it was really cool. So it was a lot of fun. So she and a friend will get to come out and play the stadium course with Len Matisse, and I'm going to be there to make everybody feel good about their golf games. And it'll be a lot of fun, and hopefully we can use this event to promote doing it again next year.
Yeah, that's
awesome. I think it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it was great. It worked out really well, and as always with things like this, it's just got to catch on, and the more people know about it the next year, and the more money you can make. Right. So good money made for the first tee in North Florida, and a fun round with Len Matisse. I just have to win a lesson with Len.
You know what? I got to tell you, being Len's friend is there's a nice perk to that, and that is every now and again he'll pull me aside and say, you really need some help, Bachman, and then he'll attempt to fix me. But I told him just today, as a matter of fact, that the only way to truly fix me is to cut open my head and do brain surgery, and I don't think he's going to do that.
I can attest to that. He's right. You're right.
Hey, I'm going to leave because I know you got to go, and I probably have to go, and you don't want to talk to me any longer. But I got to tell you, the Dream 18 is coming up, so you might as well plug that while we're talking golf and fundraising for great causes.
I'll do it.
We just promoted that today.
God, appreciate that. Thanks for doing that. And we will see you on TV tonight, CBS 47 and Fox 30. Enjoy the PGA Championship all weekend long, man.
I have been enjoying it. Yesterday on my dinner hour, I was watching it. It's fantastic, isn't it? Primetime golf. It's the best.
It is really good. We need more of it. Have a good one, man. Good job on that to you and Len and for everybody at the first tee of North Florida.
Did I mention? I forgot. I might have buried the lead. We raised $10,000. Did I say that already?
I don't know if I knew that or you said it, but I like the total.
I don't remember.
No, you did. I think you mentioned that. No.
I'm glad you did.
That's horrible of me. The whole point I wanted to make was to give a shout-out to everybody helping us out. We raised $10,000, which I thought was pretty remarkable.
That's awesome.
For really no preparation. We kind of did it on a whim, and people showed up. So a huge thanks to everybody who played and donated to the first tee of North Florida, $10,000. Now I'm leaving. Thank you, guys.
Hey, good job, man. That's good stuff. It's hard to raise money right now during the pandemic for a lot of charities. They found a new way to do it with the first tee in North Florida. We're going to try to do it as well. We probably know the dollars will be down a little bit, but we still want to put on the Action Sports Shack Stream 18. Want you to be a part of it. It'll be a limited field because of COVID-19. Still pretty good number of golfers, but just back off the number a smidge. You can go register at actionsportsshackstream18.com. We'll help out our charities. Another fine organization for youth golf in the area, North Florida Junior Golf Foundation, and also St. Michael's Soldiers celebrating their 10th year anniversary as they help local military families. And we hope you can be a part of it at actionsportsshacksdream18.com. If you have a business, even a $100 donation for a T sign, you can jump on and do that. We'll promote your business. And if you want to play, it's $400 for a foursome. Really not that much to get into a charity tournament. And you get a lot in return. We're doing like a beach theme. We're going to go bucket hat. We're going to go beach shirt. And we are going Also like one of those string bag things for the tea gift.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I know what you're talking about.
Kind of like the thing.
Camp, we used to call them camp bags. You got them like basketball camps or football camps.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So we're doing those.
Cool, man.
I mean, that alone's reason to. Plus, it's like free food and free drink.
Enough said.
Screw the golf.
I'll see you there. Yeah, I'm not going to golf, but I'll see you there, and I'll help spread the word. I'll see you there for that free food.
Action Sports Jackstream18.com is the place to go. Update on the murder hornets.
One was like caught or something.
No, yeah, Jack's Boz.
It was caught?
They found one.
Wait,
it was on the run.
This isn't cops? What are you talking about here?
Well, look, this is what Jack's Boz.
Yeah.
He sends this as after we're talking about it.
My man Jack's Boz.
He said they found one in Washington State last week.
Okay.
And they have 2 months to find the murder hornet's nest in order to save the bees. So the clock is ticking.
Hey.
See?
Jack Bauer. This isn't like a Jack Bauer episode where you have an ultimatum, but you have 48 hours.
Sounds to me like
the
bees have their own pandemic going on.
Man. And no one's talking about it, Brent.
I'm not saying
Except
that,
us.
in 3 years, I want a documentary on this, but I want, like, a 7-episode documentary on finding the murder hornet nest.
This is what Jack's Boz said to me. He said, thinking of putting a GPS mini camera and infrared camera to help finding a nest. It's that serious, apparently. I thought he was joking at first, but no, they're trying to do that. They're going to that length to get the murder hornet.
And we're worried about football right now. And we're worried about professional sports starting back up. When we got this going on, could the stakes be any? I told you, I gave the TED Talk, if you lose your honeybees, you're going to lose the world supply of food. Lose the world supply of food, we're all screwed. So start caring about murder hornets.
You're going to have a bad time.
Going to have a bad time. I can't stress this enough. I feel like I'm preaching, I feel like I'm just like that crazy guy in the streets that's preaching. But take it seriously, man. I'm telling you.
I feel like we need the CIA on the murder hornet.
For sure.
If that will help. 5 o'clock hour coming up to finish off the week. I'll get to the Barry Bonds topic. What do you think about Barry Bonds? Back to some football. Minshew versus past #1 picks. How do his numbers size up?
Yep.
We're going to talk about it when we come back on ESPN 690.
The passion is back.
When I first saw this news yesterday, my immediate inclination was to sit in the back seat of a car where it was pitch black dark and just yell, "Damn it," at my phone.
Greeny.
I mean, what are we watching here? Have you watched Sam Darnold? Have you seen the talent? You know how young Sam Darnold is? Sam Darnold is 22 years old.
Covering the top stories with the biggest names. Plus, breaking news. Greeny is back. Coming August 17th to the all-new ESPN Radio.
You ready for some good news? No, make that great news. You know that new Toyota you've been wanting? It's as good as yours thanks to the huge savings going on now at Arlington Toyota. Every new Toyota Arlington's got is on sale. In fact, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. Want to drive away in a new Toyota with no payments? Right now at Arlington, you can. Get no payments for 90 days on your new Toyota purchase. Every single day at Arlington, you're going to have over 750 new and quality pre-owned to choose from on the lot, ready for you to drive home today. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a nationwide lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. But wait, there's more. It's time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington. Wait no more. Now's the time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August savings for full details.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's Best Vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Flace with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. If you own firearms, it's your responsibility to make sure they're always stored safely. Hiding them in a closet or drawer is not enough. Kids know where they are. Research shows the risk of injury and death is lower if guns are stored unloaded and locked up, with the ammunition locked in a separate place. This is important when children are young, as well as when they grow into teenagers. For more, talk with your pediatrician or visit healthychildren.org.
Injuries on the job can cause you to lose control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar Levine. Money is not coming in and your medical bills are piling up. Our legal team is here to help. We can help you file all your workers' compensation claims to make sure you get the proper benefits you're entitled to. If you've been injured on the job, call the law offices of Anajar Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Office in Jacksonville.
You've worked hard all your life. Retirement worries shouldn't get in the way, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. But many Americans are finding that retiring on a fixed income is hard. BenefitsCheckup.org is a free website from the National Council on Aging. With just a few clicks, you can see if you qualify for thousands of dollars to pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. BenefitsCheckup.org. You've earned this. This message is supported by the Administration for Community Living.
Mortgage rates are at historic all-time lows. There's no better time. Duval! Purchase your first home or refinance with Crossview Mortgage. At Crossview, they have a proven track record with VA loans and helping people even when the big banks can't. Get pre-qualified. Do your application by phone in minutes. Let them help you save thousands. Call Crossview Mortgage, 325-9008. That's 325-9008. CrossviewMortgage.com. NMLS number 1377291.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and school just isn't for you, earn while you learn by enrolling in the Clara White Mission Workforce Training, designed for 16 to 24-year-olds and no experience necessary. National certifications include culinary arts, OSHA, HAZWOPER, forklifting, environmental training, and more. These programs are customized for low income and disadvantaged. Make your way to the Clara White Mission Training Center at 613 West Ashley Street. Call 904-354-4162 or visit clarawhitemission.org.
The summer shower of savings continue. Right now at Beard's Diamonds, get 5 years, 0 interest, plus no money down on any purchase.
This is the best deal of the summer.
Take advantage of Beard's lowest prices in North Florida on diamonds.
How about a $6,000 Takuri or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month. Or a pair of diamond studs for $3,000? You pay just $50 a month.
Come in, see the difference. Save thousands.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Oil change coming up? We can help you out. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $27.99. And if you need it fast, we can help you get it fast. Whether it's at home with our next day delivery or in store and curbside with our free same day pickup. The choice is yours. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right?
Of course, making sure you have no holes in your defense.
Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless, and you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G.
And no contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. Check out terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hey everyone, this is Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show, you missed this. That was Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic. Was he driving a Zamboni during that?
I believe they were Zamboning the courts.
I was like, Coach just said Zamboning the courts.
Is that what Zamboni
That's the verb of Zamboniing.
Sure about that?
Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. Center.
I'm Doug Brown in the 102nd PGA Championship. Second round action today. Lee Hao Tong holds the lead right now at 8 under par, 2 ahead of Tommy Fleetwood. Lee could be the first player from China to lead after any round at a major. Tiger Woods just started his round at 2 under. Live coverage right now on ESPN. Another positive COVID-19 test for a Cardinals player. Tonight's Cubs-Cardinals game in St. Louis is postponed. No word yet on the rest of the weekend series. The plans for college football are still very much in doubt. ESPN's Mark Schlabach says there could be an impact next year, too.
Hopefully we don't see a trend moving forward post-COVID where guys just skip their junior seasons and prepare for the NFL draft, and they're still 3 years removed from their high school graduation, so would thus be eligible.
6 Maryland players are opting out of the football season, including quarterback Josh Jackson. Taulia Tagovailoa, the transfer, is eligible. And 3 North Carolina defensive backs have opted out: DJ Ford, Bryce Watts, and Javon Terry.
Straight Talk Wireless has the full court cell phone coverage you need. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G for up to 50% less than the big carriers. Only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jacks.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Bassage 3-2 again.
Swung on it deep to right center field. Bonds hit from high. It's a dig. Home run number 756. The road to history for Barry Bonds is over. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
That is Barry Bonds 13 years ago. How do you feel about it? Barry Bonds, the home run king, with 762, breaking Hank Aaron in that moment right there of 755 when Bonds hit his 756th home run. and I'll say what I said earlier and kind of got this topic going a little bit here, at least on my timeline. And that is, I think this is the least celebrated milestone maybe in sports history. And it might be the best milestone in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel the same way? I guess that's why I'm asking it. I don't know if that's just me, and I have blinders onto it, or I'm just kind of like, I've put Barry Bonds. I don't really consider him that, even though I consider Barry Bonds great, by the way. And I still think I'll tell my great-great-great-grandkids about the year he had where it was either walk, intentional walk, double, or home run on everything he hit. But I just don't consider him the home run king. I don't consider that milestone of his near what I consider others.
Yeah. Listen, once again, it comes back to the fact that I think his personality didn't really do him any favors. Obviously, it's a tainted record, so that didn't do him any favors. And, like, to me, even, like, the home run, like, the whole prestige of being the home run leader in a season, to me, was tainted with Mark McGwire. It was tainted with Sammy Sosa, tainted with Barry Bonds. Now, don't get me wrong. Growing up as a kid, it was still entertaining. And maybe I guess I was kind of just naive to the fact that, you know, I knew that they were cheating or not. I guess I didn't really care. You know, now looking back on it, you know, and being 32 years old, I look back on it now, it's like, it is kind of messed up. You know, I'm still thankful that it happened. It's still a very important moment in baseball. And one could argue that at those times with Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Ken Griffey, you know, Barry Bonds, like that's when baseball was thriving. That's when baseball was must-see TV. That's when baseball commanded all the SportsCenter highlights. So I'm not mad at it because to me, it helped put baseball on the map. But once again, like in terms of where does it rank up with other popular records and things like that, I think we always look at championships first. I think that's going to be the most important thing. Are you a winner or not? So championships will be king. And then, you know, I mean, as far as the home run title, that's, to me, Brent, it's lower on the list, man. I'll be honest with you.
So some interesting responses when I put that out there earlier this morning. And, you know, First Coast Bubbler says it shouldn't be celebrated. Henry Aaron is the home run king. Let's see. What else did we'll go back? Gosh, we got quite a few responses on this. So Brandon Rissler says, I bet you remember where you were, though. And I said, honestly, I don't. Like, I remember with McGwire and Sosa. I remember with some events, but I don't remember where I was with Hank Aaron. I'm sorry, with Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
And that's kind of tells the story for me. I mean, it's that big of a milestone, and I can't tell you where I was. I mean, most likely I was at work probably one night. I mean, but I don't know. I don't remember it. And I think that kind of says a lot. Now, others do remember, and that's fine. Let's see. Rich the Butcher. Unfortunately, it is. I still recognize him as the undisputed home run king and a no-doubt Hall of Famer. And again, if we want to have the Hall of Fame conversation, I'm all in on the Hall of Fame conversation.
Yep.
He and Roger Clemens and others should be in the Hall of Fame. Without question. So should Pete Rose. So should many others. But that's not really as much this conversation. Listen, Barry Bonds is a tremendous player. One of the all-time great players. I just don't consider this record so great because he's got it. Whoa. That's where I'm at. UCF Sports Info said this: such a shame Hank Aaron lost his home run crown to a steroid user. Barry Bonds was Hall of Fame great before he started steroids, but he wouldn't have passed Aaron without juicing. And you know what? He's not wrong. He would not have passed Hank Aaron without the help. Because someone later on goes on to say something like, I don't get how taking steroids helps you hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, I think the proof is in the pudding that these guys getting stronger made the ball go a little further. Yeah. When second basemen were hitting 50 home runs and Brady Anderson was hitting 50 home runs. But to be honest with you, when we talk steroids in baseball in that era, that's not what I think the big advantage was. Look at two of the guys that we talk about the most that should be in the Hall of Fame and aren't. Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds, where I think they got assisted by this kind of use, PEDs, is longevity. See, I think steroids were a big helper in recovery. I don't know. I'm not like an expert on steroids.
Yeah.
But I think that's where these guys got so much help. If you look at Bonds, he went into his early 40s. You look at Clemens, he went into his early 40s. Would they have been able to have that kind of longevity? Would they have been as good in the months of August, September, and even October if they weren't taking, if they weren't using at the point of their careers where they were? Those guys had previously had 10 great years in Major League Baseball, or maybe it's 8 to 10. I mean, they were, this is why I always say Hall of Fame. They were on their way to the Hall of Fame already. They might have already had Hall of Fame careers before any of this even started. But absolutely, longevity and some of the records they put up, there's no way Bonds passes. I don't even know if he passes 700 home runs without that help.
Sure.
So does it have to do with hitting a 95-mile-an-hour fastball? Probably not, unless somebody subscribes to it helped your eyes, which I don't really think they do.
You still have to see what kind of pitch is coming at you.
Absolutely. Hitting is hard.
Yeah.
And you have to be a great hitter.
I would argue that the Houston Astros of last year had way more of an advantage with what they did as opposed to taking steroids.
Good point. But the brutality of the baseball season is not that it's a brutal physical sport and a violent sport. It's the length of the sport.
Yeah.
And as you start getting older, anybody who's now 35 or 37 or 38, you wake up in the morning, it doesn't feel like you did 10 years prior. Well, try doing that on a plane every night, landing at 3 in the morning, getting up, going to play again the next night, feeling hurt. Well, I think steroids really help that part when it comes to a lot of guys, and especially these record book guys like Bonds and Clemens.
I want to dive a little more into where does the home run record rank in one of the greatest accomplishments of all professional sports. And as I look around other leagues and everything like that, to me, the problem with baseball and the problem with the home run record leader, whatever you think it's Hank Aaron or you think it's Barry Bonds, whoever, you want to go to bat for here, no pun intended, kind of a pun intended, whoever you want to vouch for here, basically, keep in mind, we see a baseball player and he can be made up of a couple of things. He can bat for average. He can bat for power. He can be a very great fielder. But just because you hit a lot of home runs doesn't mean you're the greatest baseball player of all time. Okay, just like when Ray Allen, I remember when Ray Allen broke the 3-point record. And I was obviously a big Ray Allen guy growing up. When Ray Allen broke the 3-point record, that was a big deal. For me, it was. But on a global scale, I didn't see people celebrating, clamoring their TVs saying, well, Ray Allen's a 3-point leader of all time now. Yeah, it's one thing. But at the end of the day, there's so much more attributes to be made up of baseball. I get it. Chicks dig the long ball, and that's great and everything. And I get it. A 3-pointer can be a game changer. But give me points. The beauty with football is you score a touchdown, that's it. Are you a good football player? How many touchdowns did you score? Are you a good defensive end? How many sacks do you have? Are you a good receiver? How many receiving yards do you have? Baseball, it's a little more where it's the eye of the beholder, right? I can sit here and say Ichiro Suzuki, one of the best to ever do it. He wasn't a home run guy. So to me, it's a different sport in what we think, in terms of where these rankings are, in terms of home runs, in terms of batting average, in terms of triples and doubles and all that stuff. There's a lot of attributes that can be made up of, the history of baseball that, sports like football don't really have, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do think that home run milestone is one. I don't know where football isn't. See, baseball is such a numbers game. I'll finish the sentence in a moment. Hang on. Baseball is such a numbers game. Mm-hmm. And the records mean so much. There's a romance with the numbers in the record books, and that's why people get so mad about this kind of era, and they don't want to change some of the rules because of it. Even the DH now going to the National League, perhaps on a permanent basis. Is that the right thing to do? All those numbers. They want to protect the numbers and the history of the game in the record books more than anything else. Football's different. There are big records, the touchdowns record, the passing record. The game has changed so much, the rushing record. I just don't know if they're celebrated. Even NBA, I don't feel like some of those milestone records are extremely celebrated. Guys score a lot of points, okay? It's a lot of points. We just don't compute it, It's so easy to compute. Or I guess the other part of it with baseball is with that record, think about who it bridged now. Babe Ruth, to Hank Aaron, to Barry Bonds. That's 100 years of playing. That's where the record sat.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't get that in sports a lot. In baseball, you do get that. You get Joe DiMaggio. If somebody ever there's a romance. People know 56-game hitting streak because, well, it was done more than a half a century ago.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like it will ever be broken. Can we say that about records in football and in basketball? Probably a few.
Sacks, I think, are up there. You know, like the sack record.
Yeah, but you don't think like Khalil Mack will get he couldn't get 23 sacks in a season? Joey Bosa?
Oh no,
Nick Bosa?
I think they definitely can, but I'm just saying in terms of bridging. Like I think
bridging.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think in terms of a great record, like you had Reggie White, Strahan. Like to me, it bridges the eras.
That's fair enough. Yeah. I'm just saying, like in baseball, there are some stats that you just feel like might never be broken.
I gotcha. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And Hank Aaron's was one of those, and then it got taintedly broken.
Yeah.
I guess is kind of why it's one of those milestones. So it's an interesting conversation.
But then, wait, 1 second, Brent. Then I want to get back to this real quick. All right. So then Pete Alonso last year, 53 home runs.
Yeah.
But nobody I mean, and granted, it's not even close to the record. But listen, this guy's fresh on the scene and everything. You should be intrigued and excited. Now, granted, COVID-19 kind of shut that whole hype down this year. But how come we weren't celebrating Pete Alonso then last year?
Well, I think people were. And here's the deal. As a baseball, I would say I lean toward the purist and traditionalists in baseball. I think that's kind of a joke. It's a home run era. Okay, that's one thing. The ball at Major League Baseball did something to it, and everybody acknowledged it almost on a public level. Like we're fixing the game sometimes in the last 25 years in baseball. Mm-hmm. And again, I will say this. Like you can make Barry Bonds the villain of the steroid era. The folks that don't get enough criticism and venom when people talk about the steroid era is Major League Baseball itself. They knew exactly what was going on. Yeah. They knew it. They didn't do anything about it. And then they pinned it all on the players and kind of made them the scapegoats for it. Well, it was a matter of survival because Major League Baseball allowed it to happen for as long as they did. And Major League Baseball played, I think, a significant role in the numbers being historically crazy over the last couple of years. The baseball goes farther than it ever did.
But listen, though.
And it's not technology. They kind of crafted it that way.
But to me, you can't have it both ways. Like, you can't accept that guys who are on steroids were hitting long shot after long shot. Because guess what? I don't care if it's for recovery. I don't care if it's to make you healthy during the gruels of a marathon of a season. Doesn't matter. It just so happens that 3 of the top home run hitters in Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, and Sammy Sosa. I don't think Sammy Sosa ever really came out and said he was on steroids. Did he? Did he admit to it?
Well, I think it's all
okay. I mean, it's
part
out there.
of it.
Yeah, but it's not a coincidence the fact that 3 guys who are doing steroids were also the home run leaders. Okay, so say what you want about the recovery. I don't care. They had a competitive advantage. So don't forget about that when you talk about, the juice baseballs. Okay, that's a competitive advantage maybe too in terms of home runs, but you had that a couple of decades ago too with the home run chase.
Yeah, I think there's the one caveat here for me is one difference is everybody's playing with the same baseballs or similar baseballs.
Yeah.
You had to make the choice with steroids whether you wanted to do it, cheat the game, cheat yourself, cheat your teammates, cheat the fans and everything else. Major League Baseball has kind of crafted a ball that I think kind of cheats the history of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm not big on that either. These guys would still be hitting a lot of bombs, by the way. But I've seen my own kid hit a minor league baseball that was made in the last 2 years, and it travels 20 feet further. I'm not lying. Mm-hmm. I'm not lying.
Insane.
And that's with a 90-pound kid.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're 280 pounds like Judge.
Yeah.
So I don't like that part of it either. But you had to make the choice back in the day about steroids. And I do defend the players and say Major League Baseball deserves more of that, more of the criticism, because the players, it was like survive. You're surviving.
Yeah.
If you, again, I say this a lot. I'd like to say no, I wouldn't.
Survival.
You had a chance to, if you wanted to, in your sport, to take them. You didn't. Mm-hmm. But if you're telling me, Brent, here's the deal. Go out there and bust your butt and try like heck, and you've worked hard to get here, and you're a pretty good ball player, but you're probably going to hit like 12 home runs, and you're going to fight for your life in your roster spot for the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. Or take some of these, hit 28 home runs, and then you sign a 5-year deal worth $100 million. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I hear you, man.
I think I'll do what everybody else is doing.
Listen, and when we discuss this and stuff, and I've stated this before, but you want to talk about Ken Griffey Jr. and the amount of respect and admiration that I got for that dude. Because, I mean, to me, if anybody felt pressure to do steroids, it should have been Ken Griffey Jr. Now, once again, like, I don't think he did. Obviously, it's never been proven. But listen, to me, Ken Griffey Jr. was as clean as they come. And if I'm wrong about that, and one day something comes out, then so be it. And I'll say I was sorry and I was wrong. But I don't think so. I don't think Ken Griffey Jr. ever touched steroids. You want to talk about a guy who was in the middle of that home run chase and all that stuff. You want to talk about a guy who was plagued by injuries towards the end of his career, who probably needed a little pick-me-up, a little boost to try to, get himself back to feeling halfway normal again, and he never did it. And to me, regardless of what you think about the Big Mac or Slammin' Sammy or Barry Bonds, that's why, to me, Ken Griffey Jr. will always be the game changer. That, to me, is why Ken Griffey Jr. was the cool guy of baseball and why I have so much respect for him and why I think he kind of raised a generation of baseball players, because he never touched it, and you can't say that. So
no, and that's, I guess that's kind of where it is in my mind. I mean, some people, that's kind of how I got on this today. Once I saw that, it's like, yeah, I don't really recognize. I recognize Barry Bonds as one heck of a player, like an awesome player, one of the greats. Mm-hmm. And I think he should have been in the Hall of Fame years ago. I think the writers are crazy, and I think it's asinine that they're not in the Hall of Fame. Guys like him and Clemens. I'll say that till I go to my grave.
Well,
but I just don't put them in the categories of the Hank Aaron's and the Babe Ruths, and when it comes to the milestone kind of performances like this one that he has.
Yeah, and we're on the same page here in terms of the Hall of Fame. And you said a couple times, Brent, like you think there should be their own wing, right?
I do.
And that's not a bad idea at all. But when you're the sports media or you're voting on this and you don't vote Roger Clemens in or you don't vote Barry Bonds, you're essentially, to me, is like you're trying to ignore history. Like you're trying to erase history and say this never happened. This never happened. Well, guess what? It happened, and it was some of the most influential stuff to happen to baseball. So whether it was right or wrong, you have to celebrate that. You have to embrace that because it's history, man. You want to talk about a sport of baseball who values itself on history, how you can't vote those guys in and, like you said, have their own separate wing? I'll never understand that.
Yeah, and I don't understand it. I'll just say it one more time because it was baseball's own damn fault, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, and these guys are the ones getting penalized, even though they had great careers. By the way, Dalt Dixon, too, says, I celebrated my ass off. Barry's the GOAT. But, yeah, you're right. People don't seem to appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those that don't appreciate it. Bonds is the home run king, period. Says T.
Yeah.
Just T. That's it. Let's see. We got any other ones? Shane Babe Ruth played against inferior talent. Oh, this was, I don't want to. Yeah. I think that was kind of a snarky response.
Yeah.
This is Mark Taylor said, I still don't understand how taking steroids helps you hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Bonds was an all-star before the steroid era, wasn't he? Yeah, and I just explained all that. Absolutely. But he would not have been the home run king, is the absolute point of that. Let's see if we got any. I think that's it in terms of some responses on the Barry Bonds front.
I just hope that because I mean, it seems like growing up in my childhood, Brent, like it was the steroid era, right? So it was prominent and everything. But you want to talk about so many great players. And listen, like it's my goal one day. I want to take my son to Cooperstown, right? And when I take my son to Cooperstown, I want to walk around and be like, I remember when I was your age, like this guy was big. Well, I can't do that to Roger Clemens right now, right? I can't do that to Barry Bonds. So whatever. Take the ego out of it. I don't care what kind of people they were. I just care about the influence they had on the game of baseball, and the writers should do the right thing and get him in the Hall of Fame so like one day I can take my son and show off Barry Bonds, show off Sammy Sosa, show off Mark McGwire and say, this is what I grew up with. Check this out.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you see this story out of baseball, by the way, that Eric Kay, a former director of communications for the Los Angeles Angels, was charged by the DEA with illegally supplying drugs to pitcher Tyler Skaggs. Remember, he was found in his hotel room in Texas and died?
It was fentanyl, too, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's what I read.
But he was the supplier.
Yeah.
And he's being charged in the case.
Yeah. And listen, I'm no expert on the situation here, but I know fentanyl is stuff you don't want to mess with. You don't even want to touch it. And the fact that this guy was supplying fentanyl to somebody, it's just that's baffling, man.
And
that's
I think
crazy.
That was the quote out of there. Is like it shows you that even you can't take that stuff, and you can be a major leaguer and you can be a healthy this is how deadly that stuff is. And it was kind of more of a message of Doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't discriminate in that case. PGA Championship, Hao Tong Lee in the lead, 8 under par. Tommy Fleetwood 2 back. Jason Day 1 under after 4, so he's 2 back. Cameron Champ in the top 5. Paul Casey as well. Tiger Woods, he missed the birdie putt on the first hole from, it looked like it was about 10 feet or so. It was just an awful effort. Didn't even hit the hole, but he did par and playing his second hole, so we'll see how Tiger does. He starts today 6 back. Here's the thing for Tiger. If you're a Tiger fan, I told Ty this is today, just give me 2 under.
2 under is what you need?
2 under. Get me 4 under going into the weekend.
Good luck with guys like Tommy Fleetwood on the horn right now.
Get me at least feeling good.
Good luck.
Feeling a little like, okay, I got Tiger has a chance. Just give me feel like Tiger has a chance. I don't really know if he has a chance, but let me feel like he has a chance.
Absolutely, especially if it's supposed to rain all weekend. Like, go ahead and give me some Tiger Woods this weekend.
Yeah,
I'm down, Brent.
So Tiger Woods 4 under would be just fine.
Yeah,
because I think actually that Hao Tong Lee score is going to be 8 under. That's going to be lead the day. He's only made 1 bogey in the first 2 days. We'll see if Jason Day or somebody else can creep back up there. I had to point this out. We were talking in the last break. We probably spent more time on Bonds than I wanted to there, but the
Casual Friday.
We were talking in the break, and somehow we get on injuries, and Kuz is talking about his hand. He's talking about high tops, and I'm talking about like ankle sprains. And I walk out and I go get a Diet Coke, and I was like, isn't it kind of funny that we're talking to Austin, who played in the NFL and it fights in a cage for a living, about our little injuries of ankle sprains and whatever your hand injury was? I didn't even stay for the conversation.
It got stuck in a fence.
No, listen, dude. No, don't think of it like that whatsoever, Meg. I've never really rolled my ankle too bad, but I've rolled a couple times. But I was telling Kuz during the break, like, I think playing hockey actually helped my ankles out a lot. Because, you know, obviously having to balance on skates growing up, that really built my strong ankles. So thankfully I never had ankle problems as a kid. But, you know, I've broken my hand before. I've broken my leg and stuff as a kid. So, like, dude, I understand those injuries, man. Just because I played in the league doesn't mean I can't sympathize with you guys, Brent. I'm with you.
Yeah,
but hey, but don't tell me, Kuz going to you too now.
What?
Don't ever tell me that you guys got hurt playing golf, because that's where I draw the line. Okay?
I guess my back gets a little tight towards the end there, you know.
I told you I broke a bone one time in my hand playing golf, because they say it's pretty common. I played through it. But how about a funny story?
Yeah, like hit the ground? Like, was it like a...
Yeah, so I picture you taking the driver and hitting like some concrete with it and the vibration.
I'm actually like, I've done that more and more, and I'm like, it hurts after.
Okay.
I'm like, you're dummy. Don't do that. Like, you shouldn't slam the club in the ground and it hurts after.
Yeah.
So don't slam the club in the ground anymore. Hasn't stopped, though. It really hasn't.
Well, I told you last weekend.
I'm kind of fired up on the golf course the last couple months.
So what are we trying to prove here, man?
Last weekend was the first time that I went out there, and I really asked myself, I was like, why do I enjoy doing this?
Yeah. I admit to that, though. Like, I'll tell Ty this. I tell anybody I play with. There's something I enjoy about the struggle of golf. Like, trying to find if you could just go out there and you'd hit the same shot every time, take the same swing every time, it'd be something boring about that.
Yeah, but that's what I feel like I'm working towards, at least trying to. So.
That's the ideal thing.
I know, so I'm still working towards it. I've been working towards it for 30 years. It hasn't happened. But this is kind of funny. I will say this because nobody else saw it other than Ty, but I'll admit to it. I could have hurt myself today. We were actually playing down at Palencia and with Jeff Clark, former PGA guy, and our buddy Jeff is doing well. And so on the holes, and it's like the cart path, and they had like the stakes up in the rope.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I got out to go look for my ball and go back and hit it because it was like back 10 yards, and the rough's pretty thick out there, by the way.
Okay.
And I totally fell over the stake and like took a nosedive, man. If nobody else saw it, but it would have been hilarious if it was on. Like, I ended up, like, I didn't want to be like hit near the cart, so I actually kind of threw myself into the grass a little bit more because I wasn't saving it.
Yeah.
You
were pot committed.
I ended up face first in the grass. Luckily, there was a hill right there, so the other guys in the fairway couldn't see me.
Here's the thing, Brent. Here's the thing. 2 types of followers in that situation right now. which one are you? There's the faller that obviously, I mean, let's be honest, you knew you were going to fall and you knew there was no saving it, so you had to accept it.
I was down.
There's the one person who would fall down and kind of like play it off, like hurry up and like jump back up and kind of say like, oh, my shoe must have give out or something. Or there's the guy that just lays down there, rolls over and just goes with it. Just, completely falls with it, if you will. Kind of like Shaquille O'Neal used to do playing NBA.
No,
which one were you?
I was the second.
You're the second.
Because
you just embraced
there
it.
There was no going back, man. Like, I can't describe to you how I fell. It was that, like, awful.
Yeah.
Degree of difficulty was probably pretty hard. A little drama at the end to make sure I finished it off in style. But then I just was laughing at myself so much. I was like, because and at that point you realize you're like, well, if anybody saw me, you can't hide it.
Exactly.
You just looked like an idiot.
You can't play it off. Can't play it off.
Ty kind of just like, what the heck just happened? He's too nice. He doesn't say anything. He didn't bust my chops. Of course, he'll probably do it later tonight or something.
I hope so. I hope he does. Come on, Ty. Let him have it.
So that's what's happening. Hey, before we take a break, FCS playoffs will not be held this fall, even if some schools play. So here's the deal.
For college football you're talking about.
Yeah. The lower half of Division I college football has fallen short of the NCAA's recent mandate that playoffs will require 50% of eligible teams participate in a regular season. So there it is. The number fell below the threshold after both the Pioneer Football League and Big Sky Conference announced they won't have fall competition due to the pandemic. The Pioneer Football League, by the way, used to be what JU played in up until their program folded last year. And so no FCS postseason this year.
Our thoughts and condolences go out to North Dakota State, who was going for their 4th straight national championship.
Yeah, they also mentioned, you're right, they mentioned actually North Dakota State, 3 straight FCS titles, 8 of the past 9. They also, why don't you just give it to them? I mean, they're probably going to win another one. And,
that's a good point.
One of the CAA schools, which is 2019 runner-up James Madison, reverse course, ended pursuit of a fall season on Friday, this article says.
The Dukes, right?
That's interesting.
James Madison Dukes?
I think so. I think they're Dukes. I didn't realize that was a 50% threshold. I guess we've never really had these kind of conversations before where that many teams wouldn't play or something. But I didn't realize that was the threshold for it. And that shuts down the playoffs in the FCS.
That's a bummer. And obviously we'll see how the story develops here.
Like in Division II, and like we mentioned with Austin Reed yesterday, once that determination happened, other people are like, well, if they don't do that, then we're not playing conference.
This is kind of where
then you could lose more people.
This is where I'm getting at right now. Obviously, I think at least where I stand, Division I is going to happen. SEC is going to happen, Big Ten's going to happen. That's fine. Where do you see the FCS, Brent? By the time football season rolls around, like by the time the first game's supposed to start, do you see them playing a season or not?
Well, if they're already under 50%, I would say no. There is a mention in here, by the way, that they could shift to the spring. If I'm an FCS,
no, it's not. Because think about recruiting. I mean, think about like the draft, though. I mean, Trey Lance, North Dakota State, is supposed to be like the top 5 pick.
I get it, and then they'd have to make decisions. But think about it. Take that out of consideration for a moment. I understand that is a consideration because a lot of guys come out of these schools and go to draft or have chance to.
For sure.
But if you're the programs in the schools and you could play in the spring, much like we talked about the group of 5, and it gives something and maybe more TV time and all this other stuff, and at least you get it in, and by that time you can have fans and money means something in those sports, especially football. Well, then you consider doing it instead of folding the tent. Say, hey, let's make a run toward the spring instead of playing.
No, I hear you. And let's be honest, the demand for FCS football probably isn't the highest compared to an SEC or ACC kind of thing. I don't know. Do you really want to compete with college basketball though during the season, like a legit D1? Because you know how it works in college basketball. They're all D1. I mean, FCS, it's like different. So I don't know if you want to compete with college basketball.
There's a lot of consideration.
I mean, it's not going to be perfect regardless.
It's either do nothing, or try something different.
It's crazy.
But that's the FCS, where some good programs and some good players. And you mentioned North Dakota State right in front and center of all of it. All right, we got one more segment here on a Friday edition of Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We wish we had more. We have plenty to talk about. We're going to end the show with an update on the PGA Championship. And also Gardner Minshew. I saw an article today, and it got me thinking about other draft picks and Gardner Minshew. Talk about it next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Increasing cloudiness with thunderstorms increasing through the afternoon and early evenings. Temperatures in the 90s before the rain moves in, drops into the low to mid 70s overnight. Hot and humid weekend, widely scattered afternoon thunderstorms tomorrow, otherwise partly sunny in the mid 90s. And Sunday, scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms with a high of 94. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
If you have a specific medical problem, you call a specialist. Broken leg? Call an orthopedist. Cataracts? Call an ophthalmologist. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our doctors specialize in ED and PE. Listen to Dr. Rubinski, a renowned expert in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain or surgery. In fact, you'll see results in the office guaranteed or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting for 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, treatments are affordable.
Men, if Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, call Prime Men's Medical Center for a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians. Call 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105.
This is Pastor Abraham Lincoln Washington, and it's time for the truth. Racism is alive and well, but don't let that be the case because you've nursed it, you've fed it, and you've cultivated it by talking all the time about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. Change the environment. This has been Pastor Abraham Lincoln Washington, and the truth will make you free.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
You ready for some good news? No, make that great news. You know that new Toyota you've been wanting? It's as good as yours thanks to the huge savings going on now at Arlington Toyota. Every new Toyota Arlington's got is on sale. In fact, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. Want to drive away in a new Toyota with no payments? Right now at Arlington, you can. Get no payments for 90 days on your new Toyota purchase. Every single day at Arlington, you're going to have over 750 new and quality pre-owned to choose from on the lot, ready for you to drive home today. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a nationwide lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. But wait, there's more. It's time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington. Wait no more. Now's the time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August savings for full details. Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, I'm Dr. Anita Chandra with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. Recent cases of measles in the United States have caused serious illness and have many parents concerned. This virus is incredibly contagious. If your child is not vaccinated, they're likely to get the measles if they're exposed. The good news is the measles vaccine is very safe and effective. Remember, the best way to protect your children, your family, and your community is to be immunized. If you have questions, talk with your pediatrician or visit healthychildren.org.
If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, but your boss has you working from home this week, well, take us with you. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks. Tell Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy all that sweet listening coverage.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jack.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Getting to know Coach Gruden, you know, he's aggressive, but his schemes, his offense was pretty easy to learn for me in year 3, but also the spacing that he has on his route. I love it, the different combinations. I love it. I talked to Gardner. I actually talked to him yesterday about it, asking him, you know, is the offense being tailored to his strengths? And he's very confident about that, which is good. You know, if he's happy and he's comfortable, that makes everybody else comfortable. So I think it's going to be a pretty good season for us offensively because this whole offseason, we've been getting together, learning this offense.
Get excited about that offense when you hear DJ Chark talk about it, don't you?
Without a doubt.
It does remind you of a couple things now. Gardner Minshew came in last year. This was Nick Foles' offense, wasn't his offense. This is an offense built around a running game and the play action, not out of a shotgun formation or at least a spread kind of look to scan the field and survey the field like we saw in the final game against Indianapolis where he had a lot of success. Mm-hmm. And doesn't it lend to we'll see more of that Indianapolis kind of look than we saw maybe in the other games earlier in the season with Minshew? It sounds like that, and DJ Chark's excited about it. Listen, guys get excited this time of year. There's no reason not to be excited. You like what you see. You're putting in work. So it all comes with a grain of salt in that respect. But I think we're going to see something different. And to me, that excites me a little bit because we've seen a lot of bad on offense for the last dozen years, or at least not good enough. Mm-hmm. And seeing something different, trying something different, philosophically, I at least get excited about.
Yeah, I mean, as you should. Like, listen, let's be honest here. And you know how I feel about it, Brent. Offense gets the glory, but defense wins games. But in terms of rating, in terms of hyping the team up, in terms of just people going to the stadium, and obviously it's going to be different this year, but people getting excited, it's about that offense, baby. It's about the Kansas City Chiefs. Like people want to tune in. It's about Lamar Jackson, the Ravens. Like, yeah, they got a great defense, but we talk about the offense. And let's be honest here. The past decade here in Jacksonville, there hasn't been a lot to talk about the offense. And in doing so, it's hard to get excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you talk about the offense, you talk about the quarterback. I saw an article today in Sports Illustrated about Joe Burrow and doing a little, really it was about the class, like Tua and Burrow and others, about projecting what they can do in their rookie seasons. So along those lines, there was something else in here that actually got my attention. But I'll give you what they basically said. There's this line says, moderate amount of confidence in Joe Burrow. For example, throwing for more than 3,700 yards this season, assuming it's a 16-game season, and 24 touchdowns is, I guess, like a betting odds for him.
Sure.
3,300 yards and 20 touchdowns for Tua if he's playing in a 16-game season.
Which he probably won't be.
He probably won't be. Later, they go on to say, here's what this says. Burrow, 16 starts, 62.5% completion percentage, 3,600 yards, 20 touchdowns, and fewer than 14 interceptions.
Okay.
All right? So what they're basically saying is, hey, that would be a good sign.
Let's be honest. That'd be a pretty good rookie campaign.
20 and 14, 62% completion, 3,600 yards, 16 starts.
If you're a Bengals fan, you'd take that.
And you'd be like, all right, here we go, right?
For sure.
What were Gardner Minshew's numbers last year?
Last year, Minshew started in 12 games, played in 14 games, 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 60.6% completion percentage, and then 3,271 yards.
Okay, so 300 yards less than this number.
Yeah.
1 more touchdown, 8 less interceptions, and a percentage and a half less on the completion in 4 less starts and really 2 less games.
Well, and keep in mind, too, he also had 13 fumbles. Now, I'm not sure how many of those were recovered by the Jaguars, but he put the ball on the ground 13 times.
And that was definitely more of a problem in his first stint as the starter than it was after when he replaced Foles.
But, I mean, it still counts,
But my point being, if Joe Burrow has Minshew's numbers, Cincinnati's like, here we go, baby. We got our guy.
For sure. Absolutely.
Much like we said about Kyler Murray. And this is really a statement you said going way back all the way to last season, toward the end of last season. If he was drafted in the first round, if he was drafted even in the second round, people would be like, let's go. It's the fact that he's drafted in the 6th round. It just amazes me in that regard. Here are the first-year completion percentages and interception totals of every number 1 pick since 2010.
Oh, let's hear this.
All right?
All right.
Sam Bradford, 60%, 15 picks. Cam Newton, 60%, 17 picks. Andrew Luck, 54%, 18 picks. Probably threw the ball a lot more. Jameis Winston, 58%, 15 picks.
That's the story of Jameis's career.
Jared Goff, 58%, 11 picks. Baker Mayfield, 63%, 18 interceptions. Gardner Minshew had better numbers than all of those guys in his rookie season, except for the completion percentage of Baker Mayfield, who was at 63.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I be excited?
No, you should definitely be excited. And then listen, I'm not trying to rain on your parade right now because I can tell you're excited. We're going to the weekend. We're trying to have a feel-good moment here on ESPN 690. I get what you're trying to do. I appreciate it. Thank you. But we got to put the fumbles in the case there too, Brent. Okay?
That's fine.
We got to put the ball on the ground. And the other thing, too, and once again, I'm not trying to be a Gardner Minshew denier because you know where I stand on it. I was the guy that was saying if he was a first-round pick, we should be celebrating it. But he's not, so now people are kind of indifferent sometimes, it seems like, towards him. But I'm just saying, in terms of the first overall pick, what happens usually to those guys? They go to teams that have nothing around them.
True.
Right? And there's a reason why they're the first overall picks, because they sucked the previous year, right? And when you suck the previous year, it means you don't really have a good roster. Now, obviously the Jaguars last year, that roster, no, it wasn't a top 10 kind of roster, but I think it was serviceable compared to the Redskins. I think it was more serviceable compared to the Dolphins. So I'm not ready to write that roster off just yet. I'm just saying in terms of if you want to compare the top number 1 overall picks, a lot of those guys didn't have a lot of weapons at their disposal.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I do think, I mean, there's still a 6-win team, which means they had some talent, around them to win 6 games in the NFL.
Yeah.
What's interesting is even that prognosis, the Bengals believe, a lot of people believe Burrow and the Bengals will be better than the Jags this year.
Mm-hmm.
And they still predict those kind of numbers and say they're okay for Burrow. Yet, not a ton of love for the numbers that Minshew put up in the time that he was in. So I found that interesting going back and looking at the number 1 picks, the completion percentage, and then the interception totals. And let's take this one further. Sam Bradford now, to be honest, never really materialized into much. A lot of it was health, but he never materialized.
Correct.
Cam Newton became the MVP of the league at one time, although I think he always has had problems with completion percentage and accuracy things. But he's also been asked to do a lot. Andrew Luck became Andrew Luck, and I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that that's who Minshew's going to be. Winston did a lot of good things, never got over the turnover part in his career, and that's why he's now a backup in New Orleans. Jared Goff, actually that next year got him to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, and maybe he's a comp here, not long term, but in that second year, because McVay goes over there, kind of gets this offense going, fits well with Goff, and has him playing really well. Could Gruden have the same kind of impact on a guy like Minshew is an interesting one. And Baker Mayfield has been kind of up and down. He's kind of rode the roller coaster and been a bit of a yo-yo here. So I don't know. My point being is, outside of Luck and Newton, who overall has had a really good career, but statistically you wouldn't fall in love with anyway, these guys have been they've had their warts. If these are who we're going to compare them to, being better than these guys doesn't make you a perennial Pro Bowler.
Listen, I don't want to compare Gardner Minshew to these guys because, like I said, it's different in terms of when you compare someone to the top overall pick, the roster that they have, and things like that. So here's what I want to do. Let's go ahead and one-up this challenge right now. Let's go ahead and take this conversation even further. Let's go look at Russell Wilson's first-year numbers. Let's go look at Dak Prescott's first-year numbers. Keep in mind with Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, when they were brought in the 6th round, well, obviously Russell Wilson was a little higher taken than that. Dak Prescott, 6th-round pick. But when they were brought in, they were not brought in to take over right away, right? Because there was good things, obviously. I think Matt Flynn was in Seattle, right? They spent all the money on Matt Flynn. And then you had Tony Romo in Dallas. Let's see these guys' rookie numbers real quick. And keep in mind, they went into a lot better situations as rookies than Gardner Minshew did, correct? I mean, I think you would agree with me there.
No doubt.
Okay. Russell Wilson, rookie year. He went 11-5, 3,118 yards, 64.1% completion percentage.
Higher than Gardner.
26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Okay, those are actually on pace numbers that Minshew would have been on. Probably the 10 picks and the 26 touch. He ended up 21-6. Yep. And the yardage, he would have been right there. Actually, he had more yardage. The percentage, Russell Wilson seemed to be a little bit better on because Gardner, I think, was at 60.5, you said, or 60.6.
And keep in mind, too, so his rookie year, fumbled 6 times. Next year, fumbled 12 times. The following year, fumbled 13 times.
Russell?
Okay? Yeah, Russell did. Okay.
How about since then? Does it have it since?
Yes, since then. So then his highest number came actually 2017, fumbled 14 times.
Did he drop it way down in any of those years?
It came, his 4th year was 7.
Okay, that's not
5th
bad.
year is 8. Yeah, like
as much as he runs around, 7 probably isn't bad. It doesn't say how many he lost either. But.
Yeah, and in his first year is only 6. But, I mean, I'm sure he was handing the ball off a lot there. So, okay, so let's go to Dak Prescott now. Obviously, Dak Prescott, 6th-round pick out of Mississippi. Ring the bell real quick.
State.
Mississippi State, thank you. You know what I meant. But goes into a great situation, okay? Obviously wasn't expecting to start. Romo gets the back injury and entered Dak Prescott. 13-3, 67.8% completion percentage, 23 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, 3,667 yards. So, I mean, what do these numbers really tell us? Maybe
what was
not
his
that
percentage
much.
Again?
67.8.
Yeah, he had a good one.
Yeah. Now, once again, had a lot more talent around him.
Look at year 2. Did he go up or down?
Good call. Year 2, he went 9-7, 62.9 completion percentage, 22 touchdowns, down by 1, 3,324 yards, down by 300 yards, 13 interceptions.
Up.
Went up by 9.
9.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Almost had raised the bar too much in his rookie year.
There you go.
So those are good. That's again, it's another reason or two to attention. The numbers, if it depends. If you're a numbers can be spun.
They can.
But if you're painting the picture that way, some will say numbers don't lie either.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you fall on it? Mm-hmm. And if you want to put it up against, and by the way, he had game-winning drives. He had big plays. I continue to argue he had 2 or 3 plays that we haven't seen around here from a quarterback in, maybe the best I've seen, actually, 2 or 3 plays since I've been here, which is a dozen years.
Well, and listen, and if you're a Jaguars fan right now, guess what? Numbers is all you have to go off of right now, okay? Because the sample size of Gardner Minshew, it's just not big enough. I mean, I can throw you the Matthew Stafford numbers all day. Does that mean he's a great quarterback? I don't know. He hasn't won a lot, okay? So right now, after one season, after playing, I think, in 14 games, starting 12 of those games, all we have to go off of right now is numbers. And the numbers say, the analytics say, Brent, is that we should be excited.
28 touchdowns, 12 picks would be fantastic. He'll throw for over 3,500 yards because I do that now in the NFL. And I would like to see the completion percentage, getting the ball out quick, be up close to 64% if you could. 63, 64% would be nice. Take a leap in that department. I'm telling you, asked me this question, outside of wins and losses, what's the biggest category? I believe, as long as he's not this eyesore at interceptions, I think the big category is accuracy. Can he take a jump up in accuracy? Hey, by the way, yesterday on the show, remember, Kuz? I said, what's up with the Bucks?
Yeah, hey, not worried about that.
I mean, after I said that, I don't even know who they were playing. Who were they playing?
The Heat.
Heat.
Yeah.
Did the Heat ever score again?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
They ended up winning by like 15.
Oh, yeah, that's NBA for you. I was never worried.
You had a good day yesterday. Yelich hits an inside the park home run on a ball that I could have caught in left field.
Well, someone had to fill the stands, Brent.
By the way, Tiger Woods a bogey on the 3rd hole in his second round. We'll see how he does. Enjoy the PGA Championship all weekend long. Enjoy your weekend,
Bring it
everybody.
home, Tommy.
Make sure you check out CBS 47 and Fox 30 all weekend as well. 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47. And we'll see you back here Monday on ESPN 690.
Max Kellerman.
Irresponsible leaders in this